Kuan Ding stood above the heavens, and each divine pattern on it represented a law of heaven. Now these divine patterns were emitting sacred flames, absorbing the power of heaven and earth and integrating the laws of heaven. At that moment, the divine pool in Kuan Ding instantly boiled, which gathered more than half of the top divine medicine liquid in the chaotic space, and instantly burst out with violent power. Sizzle, sizzle. Green smoke instantly rose from Long Chen's body, as if countless irons were burning him at the same time. However, Long Chen had been mentally prepared, gritting his teeth and trying his best to endure, keeping his mind clear. In the battlefield of the heaven realm, Long Chen's progress was the fastest in history. If the speed of cultivation in the past was like an old ox pulling a cart, now it is like a galloping horse, and the speed between the two is completely incomparable. But even so, Long Chen found that the cultivation speed of those geniuses was still faster than him, and Long Chen could not catch up no matter how hard he tried. Now taking this shortcut is completely forced, and he knows the dangers of it better than anyone else. Long Chen formed seals with both hands, and the surrounding medicinal liquids suddenly began to surge towards Long Chen, madly attacking Long Chen's body. They were like violent beasts trying to tear Long Chen apart. Every time they attacked, it was like a huge hammer, hitting Long Chen's body hard. Even Long Chen's body could not withstand the power of so many precious medicines, and began to be injured and cracked. The waves of impact were like waves, and when they hit Long Chen's body, Long Chen was instantly injured. However, when the waves receded, the medicinal properties attached to their attacks would instantly heal Long Chen's wounds. In the process of destruction and repair, Long Chen's body was stimulated crazily and kept getting stronger. The way of tempering the body was very dangerous, but at the same time, the effect was also very amazing. Boom! The seals in Long Chen's hands kept changing, and Kuan Ding could continuously strengthen the refining power as Long Chen moved. Soon, the medicinal liquid in Kuan Ding became more and more viscous, and the impact force became more and more terrifying. Suddenly, purple blood began to seep into the liquid medicine, followed by colorful supreme blood, and then violent dragon blood. Long Chen forced all his blood out of his body and merged it into the liquid medicine. As Long Chen's blood and essence mixed into the liquid medicine, the whole Kuan Ding was filled with blood and energy, and the liquid medicine expanded rapidly, filling the entire Kuan Ding in an instant. The Chen Kuan Ding was now in chaos, and the blood and liquid medicine were completely mixed together. However, the strange thing was that all the precious medicines were refined, except for the Tianqing Narcissus, which remained unchanged. The Tianqing Narcissus, like a group of nebulae, leaned against the wall of the Ding, like a little star lamp, illuminating the world inside the Ding. At this moment, the supreme bone on Long Chen's chest glowed, and the clear and turbid liquid medicine began to surge rapidly. The power of the three bloods gradually separated from the liquid medicine and surged to the core, and those dirty swaying became like clear water at this time. The three bloods gathered into a huge ball of chaos, and in the ball, a group of stars kept flashing. That group of stars was exactly where the supreme bone on Long Chen's chest was. Seeing this, Kuan Ding couldn't help but admire in his heart. So that's how it is. Long Chen is using the power of the liquid medicine to restore the initial state of chaos and condense the innate fetal breathing environment. No wonder he used so many precious medicines, 2 by 2, to complement each other. Long Chen's talent in alchemy seems to be no worse than that of the Supreme Alchemy Emperor. Unfortunately, God never gave him time to practice well. Alas! Kuan Ding was filled with emotion. Long Chen's talent was too amazing. After entering the fairy world, Long Chen's alchemy skills had almost stopped, but he could still come up with this unprecedented way to improve himself. If he could study the way of alchemy well, his talent in alchemy would definitely not be worse than that of the Alchemy Emperor. Similarly, Long Chen's talent in cultivation was also amazing. Kuan Ding had seen too many geniuses since he was born. At the beginning, Long Chen's talent, in its eyes, could only be said to be pretty good, not the top existence. But it later discovered that Long Chen's talents were not properly cultivated because he had too many interests, which led to his inability to reach the top. However, Long Chun had to learn many life-saving methods from the mortal world to the fairy world. Otherwise, he would not have survived until today. Other geniuses have strong backings to pave the way for them, and they just need to gallop all the way. But Long Chun can't do that. He has to open a path when he encounters mountains and build bridges when he encounters water. Therefore, he has to master all kinds of skills, which leads to his talents being too scattered. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Just as Kuan Ding was sighing at Long Chen's amazing wisdom, the Long Chen seal in Kuan Ding changed again, and the world in Kuan Ding was like an egg. The egg white part is the medicine liquid, the egg yolk part is Long Chen's three bloods, and Long Chun in the center of the egg yolk is the embryo. The egg is the closest to the state of chaos. People often say that in this world, which came first, the chicken or the egg? If everything is born from chaos, then the egg must have come first. Long Chun was evolving the chaotic state through the alchemy. He did not have the ability of the Phoenix Nirvana, but he could enter a pseudo-nirvana in this way. If he succeeded, he would be truly reborn. Long Chen's supreme bone trembled, and the power of the stars slowly flew out and surged towards the star daffodils on the wall of the tripod. The star daffodils were constantly flashing. After careful counting, there were exactly 3,000 star daffodils. When endless stars poured into the star daffodils, complex and mysterious star maps were engraved on the petals and stamens of the star daffodils. Long Chun, you are playing too big this time. When seeing this scene, Kuan Ding couldn't help but feel numb on his scalp. It finally understood Long Chen's plan. Long Chun wanted to separate all the power he had, reset everything to zero, and turn it into a blank sheet of paper. No wonder Long Chun had sent away Hualinger, Lei Linger, Yao Yueding, Fan Tianyin, Zhiji, etc. before. The little starlight also contained Long Chen's soul power, and the soul power also contained Long Chen's memory fragments. If one of these fragments was lost or there was a little confusion, it would be very likely to become a madman. Thinking of this, Kuan Ding regretted not persuading Long Chun. This method was too extreme and too dangerous. But now there is no turning back. Can only grit its teeth and cooperate with Long Chun. The soul memory is separated. You will not remember what to do next. Suddenly, Kuan Ding thought of a desperate problem. Even the memory is gone, all the magical powers are separated. Long Chun will completely lose all his support. So how can he get back his memory, magical powers, three bloods, and star power? Moreover, this guy did not tell Kuan Ding about these situations in advance. Of course, if he told Kuan Ding, he would never go crazy with Long Chun. When all the power and all the memories were stripped away, Long Chun curled up like a baby and fell asleep. Kuan Ding could feel that Long Chun was as pure as a piece of white paper, flawless and spotless, just like a newborn baby. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, time passed bit by bit. Kuan Ding dared not move rashly, and could only maintain the current state. At this moment, it felt that these few days were longer than the period from the chaos era to the present, which was simply torture. When it was the 9th day, a blood-colored petal slowly emerged from Long Chen's brow. When he saw the petal, Kuan Ding was relieved. It turned out that Long Chun had given the task of awakening him to Xiaoyu. Sure enough, the moment the petal trembled, the world in Kuan Ding began to slowly operate. Boom! However, at this moment, the void trembled, and a figure broke through the air. When he saw Kuan Ding, he couldn't help laughing. I have been looking for it for a long time, but I have found it without any effort. Chen Kuan Ding, I, Lu Zhe, have taken it. The starlight was dazzling, and a star-like hand directly grabbed Kuan Ding. No one expected that Lu Zhe would show up at this critical moment, and no one could have thought that Lu Zhe could actually track here accurately. Long Chun changed several places along the way and wiped out all traces, but he was still found by Lu Zhe. At this time, Long Chun was in Kuan Ding in the weakest state and could not participate in the battle at all. Hualinger, Lei Linger, and Song Lu appeared at the same time, protecting around Kuan Ding. The surrounding void was constantly twisting, and the phantoms of vines were like strange pythons circling. Long Chun was in the most dangerous moment, and they directly put on the strongest posture, but facing the star hand, they did not fight back. Boom! At this moment, the star hand exploded, and a slender figure appeared. Fei Shuang, wearing a black long dress and carrying a broadsword, appeared in the void. Her long hair was tied into a neat high ponytail, and her favorite white long skirt was replaced with a black long dress. The silver ribbon tightly bound her slender waist. At this time, she was full of heroic spirit. After changing her arm, Fei Shuang seemed like a different person. She was surrounded by starlight, and with one hand in the air, she smashed Lu Zhe's star hand into pieces. Star power? Who are you? Lu Zhe saw Fei Shuang and felt her vast star power, and his pupils shrank. When did the 9 stars have such a terrifying strongman? Soon. He stared at Fei Shuang's star arm and roared. Bing Yi's arm. Damn it, you actually blasphemed the great 9 stars in this way. Fei Shuang snorted coldly. The 9 stars are no longer great because of you dirty people. Lord Longchen has already figured it out. Our trick can only deceive other people, but not the people of the 9 stars. You will follow Bing Yi's star fluctuations and chase here. As long as Bing Yi's residual soul is not completely wiped out, you will have a way to find us. What is your purpose here? To save Bing Yi's residual soul? To seize the Chenkuan Ding? To suppress our Shur-Mo clan? Or do you want to challenge Lord Longchen? Fei Shuang stood in front of Lu Zhe alone, with a momentum of one man blocking the pass. In terms of momentum, Fei Shuang was not inferior to Lu Zhe's level of strongmen. Yu Shaoqian and others had already formed a formation and stood behind Fei Shuang to form a second line of defense. Looking at Fei Shuang's back at this time, the strong men of the Shimo clan were overwhelmed with emotion. The invincible Lord Fei Shuang was back again. Fei Shuang, who possessed the star arm, was even more powerful. Ha ha ha. When questioned by Fei Shuang, Lu Zhe laughed in anger. Just because you have refined Bing Yi's star arm, you think you can control the star power of our 9 stars lineage? That's funny, you are too naive. Not to mention a star arm, even that woman Bing Yi is not my opponent. I can answer your question. Except for that wisp of Bing Yi's remnant soul. I want them all. That's funny. No wonder Lord Longchen said you are a bunch of second-rate guys. When did the star power become the exclusive power of the 9 stars lineage? Lord Longchen told me that the star power is like the light of the sun and the moon, illuminating the universe, nourishing all things, and moistening the Tao silently. It belongs to all things in heaven and earth, but it does not belong to anyone exclusively. If the star power can only be controlled by the 9 stars lineage, then what am I? As Fei Shuang spoke, the star power surged around her body, and the sacred starlight enveloped her, like a goddess among the stars. The power of the stars is perfectly compatible with Fei Shuang. At the beginning, she had the same idea as Lu Zhe, believing that only the 9 stars lineage could truly control the power of the stars. However, when Longchen helped her merge the star arm, he told her the true meaning of the power of the stars. The sun, moon, and stars have never been owned by anyone. As long as they can shine, anyone can enjoy their power. What nonsense! The power of the stars has existed since ancient times, but no one has ever been able to truly control it. Only the Star Lord came out of nowhere and created the 9-star hegemon body art, opening up an unprecedented path. Your star power is just stolen. You, the Shur-Mo clan, have been servants of our 9 stars for generations. Now you, a bunch of despicable guys, have stolen the master's things and dare to speak so arrogantly here. You are so shameless. After hearing Fei Shuang's words, Lu Zhe was furious. The strong men of the 9 stars are all arrogant. They always think that they are unique and the only ones in the world who can control the power of the stars. Now, Fei Shuang has also controlled the power of the stars, which makes him shocked and angry. This is simply subverting his cognition. Fei Shuang sneered. You are the shameless ones. Although we are the invaders, we have never harmed the creatures of the 9 heavens world. On the contrary, we are loyal to our original intentions and have devoted ourselves to protecting the 9 heavens world until our death. Star Lord has given us the demon suppression talisman, and we are grateful from the bottom of our hearts. However, even if Star-Lord does not give us the demon suppression talisman, we will still follow our hearts and fight for justice. What's more, Star-Lord has fallen. His era has passed. And you have not inherited Star-Lord's compassion for the world, nor have you continued Star-Lord's intention to save the people. We are the first demons, and we have no regrets even if our race is exterminated. But if someone wants to make us slaves, that's a big mistake. We are the first demons, and we are not afraid of genocide. Do you think we will surrender to you? Fei Shuang's words were as sharp as a knife, and they made Lu Zhe see stars, and he couldn't even get a word in. Moreover, Fei Shuang's words were irrefutable, and he gritted his teeth in anger, and murderous intent surged. Yu Shaoqian and others secretly cheered for Fei Shuang's words. These words were too sharp. Yu Shaoqian even felt that after Long Chen's help, Fei Shuang's strength had not only improved, but his mouth was also stronger than before. You are making up a story. You stole something from our 9 stars lineage, but you are still lying here. You are a bunch of traitors. You should all die. Boom! Lu Zhe was furious. Seeing that he could not suppress the other party on the moral high ground, he shouted, and the starlight around him trembled, the flames rose, and the vast pressure rushed straight to the sky. Boom, boom! A breath stronger and sharper than Bingyi radiated. After integrating a little bit of star power, you can't find the north. Today I will let you see what the real star power is. Boom! Before Lu Zhe could finish his words, a fist covered with stars hit his chest hard. With a loud bang, Lu Zhe's chest collapsed and flew backwards like a meteor. Nebula step? Lu Zhe flew backwards, blood gushing out, and he uttered 3 words indistinctly, with disbelief in his eyes. Lu Zhe never expected that Fei Shuang could master the nebula step, and her skillful movements were exactly the same as Bingyi's. Whoosh! Lu Zhe was knocked away by a punch, and suddenly the starlight burst out from behind him. Fei Shuang's figure flashed and came, with 5 fingers like hooks, tearing through the sky and grabbing Lu Zhe fiercely. Star Claw! Lu Zhe was shocked. This move was Bingyi's specialty. He had fought with Bingyi several times and recognized this move at a glance. What shocked him most was that Bingyi's Star Claw was too strong and not flexible enough. Although it was fierce, it was not stable and had certain flaws. However, this move, when used by Fei Shuang, was a combination of hardness and softness, without any flaws. Seeing Fei Shuang's claw grabbing, Lu Zhe suppressed his shock, turned around, and kicked Fei Shuang's lower abdomen. This move was a must-attack for the enemy, and it was fierce, spicy, sinister, and poisonous. Just from this one move, it can be seen that Lu Zhe is a person who will do anything to achieve his goals. Swish! A scene that shocked everyone appeared. Fei Shuang ignored Lu Zhe's kick and grabbed the void with her palm. The void was like a curtain. Under the distortion of space, a large piece was pulled out. What? Lu Zhe was shocked. He had never seen such a trick before. He was like standing on a carpet. The moment the carpet was pulled out violently, he was thrown out. Bang! When Lu Zhe spun and flew backwards, Fei Shuang punched Lu Zhe on the back. Lu Zhe bleed wildly. In his roar, a star claw appeared in his hand and swung it fiercely behind him. Swish! The star claw cut through the sky and drew 5 black lines in the void, but Fei Shuang dodged this attack. Fei Shuang retreated 100 feet, and when she stood firm, a blood mark slowly appeared on her snow-white neck, and the bright red blood slowly flowed out. Sister Fei Shuang. The strong men of the Shimo clan were shocked. Fei Shuang had the upper hand before, but Lu Zhe's star claw was so terrifying that he almost cut off Fei Shuang's head with a casual wave. This change came too quickly. Fortunately, Fei Shuang dodged in time, otherwise she would have been a cold corpse at this time. Fei Shuang ignored the bloodstains on her neck. It was just the aftermath of the star claw when it cut through the void. It was not a big deal. However, if other people had escaped from death, they would have been scared for a while, but Fei Shuang was not moved at all. She had gone through countless hardships and her will was as strong as a rock. Later, she merged with Bingyi's star arm and received secret guidance from Long Chun. At this time, She was comparable to a battle-hardened dragon blood warrior. Death would not make her feel fear, but would only make her more calm and composed. Her eyes were like the eyes of a cheetah in the dark night, staring at the prey in front of her. Ha! She leaned forward slowly, slightly bent her front legs, slightly kicked her back legs, and stretched out her jade hand to hold the hilt of the sword behind her. At that moment, the world seemed to be still, and the sharp breath locked onto Lu Zhe. How is this possible? Lu Zhe roared in his heart. A small demon from the beginning of demons, who had obtained Bing Yi's star arm, actually directly controlled the power of the stars. Moreover, Fei Shuang's star power was more perfect and more powerful. Bing Yi couldn't lock him, but Fei Shuang did it. Lord Long Chun said that every powerful enemy is a gift from heaven. Defeating him will make you stronger. Fei Shuang's eyes were like stars in the dark night, flashing with a cold light, and every word was like a pious chant. Swish! Suddenly, Fei Shuang moved. Her figure rushed to the left and front, and suddenly flashed to the right. Wherever she passed, the stars flickered, like a galaxy flowing. Every time she flashed, her momentum rose a lot. After flashing 3 times in a row, the star runes around her body began to burn. It's the 9 flashes of the galaxy. You shameless thief! Stop it! Seeing this scene, Lu Zhe couldn't help but feel his scalp tingling. He roared and rushed towards Fei Shuang. He couldn't let her continue. The 9 flashes of the galaxy is one of the most advanced secrets of the 9 stars. Only the descendants of the heavenly rank have the opportunity to learn it. The opportunity here refers to those who have a special identity or extraordinary talent, or those who have made outstanding contributions to the 9 stars. Only those who are qualified to learn, not all descendants of the heavenly rank can practice. The 9 flashes of the galaxy can mobilize the power of heaven and earth and communicate with the stars in the sky. Every time it flashes, the power of the stars will be superimposed on the previous one, and the power will almost double. According to legend, this move can be superimposed up to 9 times, so it is called the 9 flashes of the galaxy. According to legend, this move is extremely difficult and dangerous. The strongest genius of the 9 stars can only flash 6 times at most. If he flashes more, he may die on the spot because his body cannot withstand that terrifying power. Bing Yi can do the 4th flash, which is one of Bing Yi's strongest moves, and it is incredibly powerful. However, this move also has its weaknesses. Once it is interrupted, the power behind it cannot be exerted, and it may even backfire. When Bing Yi fought against Long Chun, she did not use this move because she did not dare. With Long Chen's combat experience, he could easily interrupt her power accumulation. Lu Zhe once blocked Bing Yi's 4th flash. Although he successfully blocked it and defeated Bing Yi in one move, he was also injured and recovered after half a month of recuperation. So no one knows the horror of this move better than him. When Fei Shuang performed the 3rd flash, he held the star claw and took a step forward suddenly, blocking the path of the 4th flash. His star claw is 9 feet and 3 inches long. It looks like a long pole with a sharp claw on the head. In fact, it is a special divine emperor magic weapon made by the 9 stars lineage. The runes engraved on it can maximize his star power. The star claw shattered the void and blocked Fei Shuang's path. However, suddenly, the galaxy poured down and suddenly changed its course. What? Lu Zhe's eyes were about to pop out. The paths of the 9 flashes of the galaxy were fixed. Fei Shuang's move completely stunned him. What he didn't know was that it was not the path of the 9 flashes of the galaxy that was fixed, but the path that Bing Yi used when she used the 9 flashes of the galaxy was fixed. Because Bing Yi's power was too strong and it was not easy to turn. Otherwise she would be easily injured. She had no choice but to use this fixed path. Lu Zhe had never practiced the 9 flashes of the galaxy, so he had such an understanding. Fei Shuang's power of the original demon and the power of the stars were fused, and under the combination of hardness and softness, it was not subject to such restrictions. Buzz! At this moment, the galaxy under Fei Shuang's feet poured down and fell on the earth. The earth was infected by a piece of stars. Boom! Suddenly, the earth exploded, and a galaxy rose from the bottom to the sky. Fei Shuang slashed out with the broadsword in his hand, and the sharp breath shocked the heavens and the worlds. Damn it! Lu Zhe gnashed his teeth. The fourth flash of the galaxy finally came. He roared, and the star battle armor was added to his body. The divine symbol between his eyebrows flashed, and the star claws in his hands burst into a dazzling divine light. Come on. Let me see how much star power you can control, a thief? After Lu Zhe roared, he took the strongest defensive posture. With a loud bang, Fei Shuang's broadsword, carrying the supreme power of the stars, slashed fiercely on the star claws. Boom! Starlight shone brightly, as if the sun was shattered. In the earth-shattering explosion, Lu Zhe's blood spurted out wildly. His hands were blown up, and his star claws rolled wildly in the void. The starlight dissipated, Fei Shuang's long hair fluttered, a little messy, and the broadsword in her hand was only a hilt, and blood was dripping along the hilt. Fei Shuang's face was a little pale. This attack was too strong, but the consumption was also terrible. If Bingyi had used this attack, the terrifying recoil force would have made her half-disabled in an instant. But Fei Shuang had the power of the original demon, which offset most of the recoil force. Although she was also injured, it was not serious. Ha! Fei Shuang's figure flashed and directly caught up with Lu Zhe, who was flying backwards. The demon divine pattern appeared on her forehead and burned rapidly. A force that was more powerful and violent than before rose up. Damn it! Seeing this scene, Lu Zhe's heart and liver broke. He didn't expect that Fei Shuang would still have such a terrifying power after this attack. Wait for me! Lu Zhe roared, and the stars around him ignited, instantly merging with the star claw. With a loud boom, the star claw broke through the void and instantly disappeared with Lu Zhe. Ha! The moment Lu Zhe disappeared, Fei Shuang's breath dropped rapidly, and the whole person fell from the void. Fei Shuang! Yu Shaoqian and others were shocked. How could Fei Shuang, who was so brave and invincible just now, fall down so easily? Yu Shaoqian hurriedly caught Fei Shuang, and Fei Shuang tried to squeeze out a smile and said, "This guy is too strong. I am not his opponent. I can only use all my strength to scare him away. It seems that I succeeded. The so-called Tianjiao of the 9 stars is just so." Fei Shuang was a little excited. Her pretty face flushed, and she was out of breath when she spoke. Yu Shaoqian hurriedly fed Fei Shuang a pill, and Fei Shuang's face looked a little better, and everyone's hanging hearts were finally put down. If we didn't have to reserve our strength to protect my brother, we could actually cooperate with you and try to kill him, Huolinger said unwillingly. Lu Zhe was very strong, and he was also extremely cunning and treacherous. He clearly had a trump card that he hadn't used, but he ran away directly. There were not many opportunities to kill such a treacherous and cowardly person. If we lose this opportunity, it would be even more difficult to kill him next time. The safety of Lord Longchun is more important. It doesn't matter whether this person is killed or not. Fei Shuang looked at the still burning Kuan Ding and said, "Boom!" Suddenly, the whole world trembled, and a sacred breath radiated the entire Tianyu battlefield. What happened? Everyone was shocked. The Tianyu battlefield seemed to have undergone strange changes. Under the traction of the two forces of the 9 heavens world and the chaos world, the Tianji Ridge exploded. The luck of the Tianyu battlefield began to explode. This is the last chance of the Tianyu battlefield. You follow me and rush to Tianji Ridge together. At this time, Kuan Ding's old and deep voice came. Kuan Ding will not talk to others easily, because it is easy for others to be contaminated by its karma, which is often a disaster rather than a blessing. But today, Longchun is still sleeping in the Ding, and the crowd is leaderless, so it has to guide everyone. Hearing Kuan Ding speak, everyone was immediately excited. They actually had the opportunity to communicate with this legendary existence. Kuan Ding said, "Longchun underestimated his consumption during nirvana. He needs more energy to nourish his body and cannot wake up in a short time. We should rush to Tianji Ridge now. Only the gushing power of Tianji Ridge can accelerate Longchun's nirvana." I have to take care of Long Chun in Nirvana and cannot help you. So everything is up to you. Don't worry, senior. We will protect Long Chun even if we die, Yu Shaoqian said solemnly. In the past, Long Chun always protected her. This time, it was finally her turn to protect Long Chun. She would never let Kuan Ding down. Kuan Ding trembled slightly, and the sacred runes around it slowly burned. The divine light it radiated was like a moving sun. Kuan Ding's movement speed was not fast, because it had to always maintain the balance of internal and external forces to avoid disturbing the sleeping Long Chun. At this time, Long Chun in Kuan Ding had a blood-colored petal glowing at the center of his eyebrows. Among the 3,000 Tianqing narcissus, the soul threads like spider silk were slowly floating and slowly approaching Long Chun. Long Chen's soul was entrusted to the Tianqing narcissus. It was easy to disperse, but it was difficult to get it back. The evil moon mark on Long Chen's forehead could only attract them, and these stripped souls sensed the call and stretched out the silk threads to find the direction of perception. These soul threads need to be roasted by the liquid medicine and burned by the flames. Every time they extend forward, they consume a huge amount of power, and this consumption cannot be replenished from the liquid medicine. Kuan Ding needs to absorb power from the outside world to supply it. This is something that Long Chen had never thought of before. He did not expect that this nirvana was not only the nirvana of the body, but also the nirvana of the soul. He only calculated the energy required for the nirvana of the body, but did not take into account the consumption required for the nirvana of the soul, which resulted in him being unable to wake up as planned. Since Long Chun could not wake up, Kuan Ding had to take care of Long Chun and could not participate in any battle. In this way, the responsibility of protecting Long Chun was handed over to everyone. Although everyone would swear to protect Long Chun, Yu Shaoqian and others were still worried. Kuan Ding was too conspicuous. Once it appeared in Tianji Ridge, it would instantly attract the covetousness of countless strong men. Could they really protect Long Chun by themselves? However, there was no way out at this time. Everyone could only bite the bullet and move forward. Fei Shuang also ate a pill given by Kuan Ding and began to recover quickly. After fighting with Lu Zhe, this first battle after the fusion of the star arm made her gain a lot, and her understanding of the power of the stars also reached a new level. As Long Chun had told her before, every powerful enemy is a gift from God. Defeating him will make you stronger. Although she did not defeat Lu Zhe, her gains were already amazing. After a big battle, under strong pressure, the power of the stars and the power of the original demon were more compatible. This also means that in the future, she will be able to operate the power of the stars more and more smoothly, and will not be as stiff as today, and will not be injured by such a large recoil force. Moreover, her battle today was obviously a bit chaotic. After summoning the divine pattern, she did not have time to open the 8-star battle body, so she rashly used the 9 flashes of the galaxy. If she could open the 8-star battle body first and then summon the divine pattern, the power of the 9 flashes of the galaxy would increase by a large amount. In short, after this battle, Fei Shuang saw many of her shortcomings, which means that she still has a lot of room for growth. Fei Shuang couldn't help looking at Kuan Ding, with gratitude and admiration in her eyes. Fei Shuang suddenly saw Yu Shaoqian looking at her, and unconsciously, her face slightly blushed. Yu Shaoqian smiled slightly, and Fei Shuang's face became even redder. She quickly concentrated her mind, eliminated distractions, and took the time to recover. Along the way, the atmosphere was extremely tense, and every nerve of the powerful men of the Shimo clan was tense, because they had sensed some fluctuations along the way, and there were powerful men spying on them in secret. 3 days later, there was a loud bang in front, and a huge abyss blocked their way. Ruatia gushed out from the abyss and split the sky. "We're here." When they saw the scene in front of them, they became more nervous. The once towering Tianji Ridge has now become an abyss that tears apart the Tianyu battlefield. No one knows what happened. Endless luck is gushing out from the abyss. There seems to be an inexplicable sadness in the gushing luck. When the luck ends, it means that the Tianyu battlefield will become a dead place. The gushing luck is like the last blood of this world, but it is powerless to struggle. The gushing luck is like a waterfall hanging upside down in the sky. Looking at the sky, the balance above the heavens is already clearly visible. At this time, it keeps shaking, and the scales on both sides of the balance are blooming with strange brilliance. Yu Shaoqian and others just approached the abyss, and a group of creatures from outside the domain have occupied this area in front. Yu Shaoqian didn't want to cause any more trouble, so she wanted to go to the side and find a place where no one was. "Get out if you don't want to die." But Fei Shuang had already shouted coldly at the group of creatures. Seeing someone provoking them, the group of creatures couldn't help but get furious. There were hundreds of thousands of their strong men, and their lineup was powerful. The leader also condensed his own divine talisman. Fei Shuang's cold shout instantly made the group of creatures explode. They roared and rushed over, but just when they were halfway through, they saw the Kuan Ding behind Fei Shuang, and their faces changed drastically. The leader waved his hand and disappeared with all the tribesmen in an instant. "Master Fei Shuang is mighty." Everyone was excited to see that Fei Shuang scared away the group of strong men with just one sentence. "Master Saint, we can't show too weak. We must show enough strength so that they can't figure out our details and dare not act rashly," Fei Shuang said. Yu Shaoqian nodded. Fei Shuang was right. The Kuan Ding had already appeared. Being cautious might attract some forces to test it. It would be better to show more strength, at least to deter some weak teams, just like the group of creatures just now. They knew they didn't have the strength to fight for the Chen Kuan Ding, so they might as well leave quickly to avoid being caught in the crossfire. The Chen Kuan Ding is so conspicuous that it is impossible to keep it secret. Their open appearance here will make those who covet it dare not act rashly, so that they can buy more time. Kuan Ding rushed directly into the torrent of luck. Ordinary people dare not directly absorb the power of luck, even the strong who condensed the natal divine talisman. But Kuan Ding is not afraid. Entering the torrent of luck, Kuan Ding bloomed with divine light, forming a huge magic circle, constantly devouring the power of luck. And around Kuan Ding, endless blood-colored petals were flying, and Longu Sheiyue was also absorbing the power of luck. In the interweaving of flames and thunder, vines like dragons appeared and disappeared in the void, and the figures of Yaoyue Ding and Fan Tianyin were also slowly rotating around Kuan Ding. Kuan Ding's voice entered everyone's mind. "Children, this power of destiny is the origin of the great Tao of a world, equivalent to the essence and blood of a person. The battlefield of the heaven realm is about to become a dead place, and this power of destiny is its last legacy. You should open your hearts to feel, comprehend, and absorb it. Those around are all small fry. They dare not come to make trouble for the time being. Take this opportunity now and make the final breakthrough." Hearing Kuan Ding's words, Yu Shaoqian and others no longer hesitated and entered the torrent of destiny. Under the protection of Kuan Ding, they don't have to worry about the violent impact of the torrent of destiny and can comprehend with peace of mind. The power of destiny contains the laws of the operation of heaven and earth, which is something you must master to advance to the realm of God Emperor. Only by understanding your own law and concentrating your own path can you move towards the future. Listen and feel with your heart. When Kuan Ding's voice came, all the powerful people of the Shuremo clan had a clear mind in an instant. Kuan Ding was using his own power to help them understand the true meaning of the law. This was also the first time that Kuan Ding used his own power to help others without worrying about the so-called cause and effect. In Kuan Ding, the blood-colored petals at the center of Long Chen's eyebrows glowed. In these petals, the soul contract between Long Chen and Xiaoyu was contained. So Long Chen could use the power of Xiaoyu to wake himself up. At this time, the blood-colored petals trembled, and transparent silk threads slowly floated towards it. As long as the silk threads were connected to the petals at the center of Long Chen's eyebrows, Long Chen's soul would return bit by bit. Just when the silk thread was about to touch Long Chen's eyebrows, Long Chen suddenly opened his eyes. And in Long Chen's eyes, there was a dark hole, evil, violent, bloodthirsty, and the breath of wanting to destroy everything burst out, and Long Chen actually opened the eye of purgatory. The opportunity has finally come. You don't have to wake up, sleep forever. Long Chen's inner demon successfully took over Long Chen's body at this moment, and an evil smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Ha! He opened his hands and was about to tear the soul threads in front of him into pieces. As long as these soul fragments were destroyed, Long Chen would never come back. Buzz! However, just as the inner demon was about to take action, suddenly a golden lotus seed appeared in front of Long Chen. Ah! The dazzling golden light made Long Chen's eyes hurt sharply. He couldn't help but let out a groan of pain, and black blood actually flowed down the corners of his eyes. He still has a trick up his sleeve. Ha! Long Chen closed his eyes. The breath of the inner demon slowly disappeared, and the golden lotus seed disappeared with it. It turns out that Long Chen had already calculated that the inner demon would take the opportunity to attack him. Kunding could not help but admire when he saw this scene. Perhaps the only thing on Long Chen's body that could restrain the eye of purgatory was this golden lotus seed. And even Kunding could not do it. The inner demon retreated, and the silk threads continued to extend, and finally one of them slowly touched Long Chen's brow. OM! The blood-colored petals on Long Chen's brow instantly melted, forming a drop of liquid, which pulled that trace of soul into Long Chen's sea of consciousness. At this time, Long Chen's sea of consciousness was dead silent, like a dry sea, without any vitality. And when the drop of liquid that wrapped Long Chen's soul dripped into the sea of consciousness, Long Chen's sea of consciousness trembled suddenly, and then the entire sea of consciousness was activated. When the drop of liquid came to the gate of the gods opened instantly, and the drop of liquid entered the gate of the gods and disappeared instantly. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At this moment, a divine light lit up between Long Chen's eyebrows, palms, and soles at the same time, and then the supreme bone on Long Chen's chest began to tremble, and the sleeping supreme bone began to slowly revive. That drop of liquid moved back and forth in Long Chen's body. It was like a sentinel, constantly awakening all the functions of Long Chen's body. Buzz! When the drop of liquid entered the chaotic space trembled violently, and the drop of liquid was actually absorbed by the chaos pearl. Ha! Long Chen slowly sat up, formed seals with his hands, and then a bead slowly appeared above his head. That bead was the chaos pearl. This was the first time that Long Chen had appeared outside in his own form since he got the chaos pearl. Why did it come out? Kunding was shocked when the chaos pearl appeared. OM! The chaos pearl trembled, and a huge vortex formed between heaven and earth. Endless luck power was madly injected into Kunding. After entering Kunding, it instantly merged into the chaos pearl. The divine light on the chaos pearl fell and wrapped Long Chen in it. The power of chaos washed Long Chen's body and soul. Seeing this scene, Kunding secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it did not appear outside the battlefield. Otherwise Long Chen would probably have no chance to grow. The chaos pearl did not rush out of Kunding, so that people outside could not see it, and Kunding's hanging heart was finally put down. However, the suction force of the chaos pearl was too strong, and a huge vortex was formed in the space of billions of miles. The terrifying suction force affected a long distance, and many forces that were absorbing the luck power were affected. However, in their eyes it was the movement caused by Chen Kunding. Even though they coveted Chen Kunding, they did not dare to take action. Some people who are self-aware have already fled far away, lest they lose their lives if they don't get the treasure. Some powerful people are conserving their strength at this time. They know that no matter who fights for the Chen Kunding first, they will suffer the most. Because once he succeeds, he will be attacked by everyone, so these powerful creatures are waiting for the opportunity. Therefore, there is a huge commotion here which seems very reasonable. Those disturbed forces have moved away from this area. They can't afford to provoke, but they can always hide. The endless power of luck was sucked crazily by the huge vortex, but after the power of luck entered the vortex, it was spit out by the huge force. However, during this swallowing and spitting, the purest essence of the power of luck was absorbed by the chaos pearl. However, after the chaos pearl absorbed this pure essence, it was transferred to Long Chen. After the power circulated in Long Chen's body, it returned to the Chaos Pearl. The power circulated back and forth between the Chaos Pearl and Long Chen. Long Chen's body actually exuded a lustrous luster, like a piece of beautiful jade that had been carved, flawless and spotless. The power of the Chaos Pearl blocked the power of the medicine, and also blocked the return of the soul power in the Tianxing Narcissus. Long Chen, you didn't expect that your nirvana this time would be thousands of times larger than you imagined. Kuan Ding looked at everything in the cauldron and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Long Chen's sudden idea this time actually triggered a series of chain reactions, and even the Chaos Pearl took action. The reason why the Chaos Pearl took action was because Long Chen's body had not yet reached its true limit. If the soul was fused at this time, it would cause some flaws. And once this flaw occurs, it will follow Long Chen for life and cannot be reversed. The Chaos Pearl used its own power to activate the power of luck and stimulate the power of origin to temper Long Chen's body and soul, allowing him to completely return to the chaotic state and become a real blank sheet of paper. After several hours, the Chaos Pearl trembled slightly, and two large trees appeared on both sides of Long Chen, namely the Heavenly Tao Tree and the Seven Treasures Glazed Tree. The branches and leaves of these two extremely mysterious sacred trees were connected at this time, forming a portal to protect Long Chen. On the leaves of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tree and the Heavenly Tao Tree, endless runes slowly fell and merged into Long Chen's body. But strangely, when these runes fell on Long Chen, they were like snowflakes falling into a furnace, disappearing in an instant, without any trace or any fluctuation. It was unknown how long it had passed, but it seemed that all the runes on the leaves of the two sacred trees had merged into Long Chen's body, and finally the two sacred trees disappeared. The Chaos Pearl trembled slightly and slowly fell from the top of Long Chen's head, and finally fell into Long Chen's dantian, returning to its original position. The Chaos Pearl returned to its original position and became that chaotic world again. In the chaotic world, there were endless precious medicines and towering ancient trees, still in its original appearance. But at this time, the chaotic world seemed to have a little more spirituality, and the laws of this world became more perfect. The Chaos Pearl returned to its place, and there was no power to stop the medicine and soul power. The medicine began to nourish Long Chen's body. At the same time, the soul threads in the Tianxing Narcissus had extended to Long Chen's eyebrows. When the threads rushed into Long Chen's eyebrows, Long Chen's body shook violently, and he slowly formed seals with his hands. At this time, he finally slowly regained his consciousness. As Long Chen formed seals, the soul threads rushed to Long Chen, and Long Chen's memory quickly returned. The vast blood rose, and the purple blood, supreme blood, and dragon blood returned again. After returning, the three bloods were like dragons returning to the sea, blooming with monstrous arrogance. In the past, Long Chen's body imprisoned their power. In the past, they were like giant dragons raised in a fish pond, and could only coil in frustration. Now, Long Chen's body after nirvana allows them to return to the sea, with endless room for development. The power of the three bloods returned, and Long Chen's supreme bone glowed rapidly. At this moment, Kuan Ding trembled violently, and all the runes began to burn again. Boom! The liquid medicine in Kuan Ding boiled instantly, and the world that was originally clearly divided into egg white and egg yolk instantly turned into bastard, which looked chaotic. As Kuan Ding burned, the liquid medicine was spinning wildly and rapidly decreasing, and the liquid medicine gradually turned from liquid to solid. Finally, a giant pill with a diameter of about 10 feet was formed, and Long Chen was firmly locked in the giant pill. Senior, this is the last step. Success or failure depends on you. Long Chen was in the pill and couldn't move, but he sent a voice to Kuan Ding. At this moment, the power of the three bloods of the supreme bone in Long Chen's chest receded, and then a little starlight appeared. When Long Chen's supreme bone was activated, the 3,000 celestial star daffodils lying on the wall of the tripod trembled violently, like a seal, printed on the giant pill. In an instant, the giant pill was covered with dense star maps. When Kuan-Ding saw this scene, a sacred light shot out and went straight into the sky. Boom! The sky was shattered, and the clear sky turned into night in an instant. Endless stars descended and covered the whole world. At that moment, it seemed as if the entire sky had collapsed, and it seemed that one could reach out and touch the stars. That scene made countless people scream in fear, thinking that the end of the world had come, and they fled. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The stars in the sky were flickering rhythmically, and in the Kuan-Ding on the giant pill, the sky star daffodils were also flickering at the same frequency. Long Chen's supreme bone in the giant pill was glowing, and his skin was covered with star maps. As the stars moved, Long Chen's body also followed its rhythm. Every time the stars flickered, Long Chen's body would tremble. At that moment, Long Chen was in sync with the vast starry sky, and he seemed to have merged with the stars. As the runes around Kuan-Ding continued to burn, endless star power poured into the Ding and finally entered Long Chen's body. Long Chen is really going to defy the heavens this time. Kuan-Ding couldn't help but sigh. Even it didn't dare to think about this kind of practice, let alone see it. And Long Chen not only thought about it, but also did it. It seems that he succeeded. Boom! At this moment, there was a loud bang, and a giant star claw appeared in the starry sky, shooting towards Kuan-Ding. At the same time, Lu Zhe's cold voice resounded through the world. A bunch of damn ants. You dare to bluff me. This time, none of you will survive. Lu Zhe appeared again, and as soon as he made a move, he directly sacrificed the magic weapon of the God Emperor. Lu Zhe was scared away at first, but later he thought about it carefully and suddenly felt that he must have been deceived. He rushed back immediately, but it turned out that Kuan-Ding had already left with everyone, and Kuan-Ding deliberately left traces, which led Lu Zhe to chase in the wrong direction. Lu Zhe felt something was wrong, and rushed straight to the direction of Tianji Ridge, and finally met Kuan-Ding here. When Lu Zhe thought that he, a dignified descendant of the heavenly rank, was deceived, he was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. Seeing the strong men of the Shurimo clan absorbing the power of destiny under the protection of Kuan-Ding, he gritted his teeth in hatred, roared, and urged the Star Claw, whistling towards Kuan-Ding. Although the Star Claw is a magic weapon of the God Emperor, it is not enough in front of Kuan-Ding, and Lu Zhe also knows this. However, his purpose is not to attack the Kuan-Ding, but to destroy the barrier formed by Kuan-Ding. Oh my God! It's the descendant of 9 stars. When Lu Zhe appeared, countless strong men in the distance exclaimed. The descendant of 9 stars, a mysterious and powerful existence, often only exists in legends, and very few people encounter it. Is the fight starting directly? The strong men of the 9 stars are really strong. People were secretly shocked. The first person to make a move must be the one who suffers the most. However, this is also in line with the legend that the descendants of 9 stars are tough and domineering. Buzz! The Star Claw broke through the air and was about to touch the Kuan-Ding barrier. There was a loud bang, and a war halberd emerged and hit the Star Claw heavily. Then the sky was filled with black air, and Song Lu, who was wearing black armor, appeared in front of Lu Zhe. Pa! Lu Zhe stretched out his hand to catch the flying Star Claw. The huge force made his body shake. He couldn't help but be surprised. Dark power? Who are you? Buzz! However, what answered him was a pair of dark wings that opened rapidly, and then violent power rose, like a volcanic eruption, and Song Lu waved the bloody war halberd in his hand. Swish! The void was torn apart, and a black blade cut through the sky and instantly slashed in front of Lu Zhe. Bang! Lu Zhe waved the star bone claw, and the black blade exploded. The shattered blade shocked Lu Zhe's arm, and he almost couldn't hold the star bone claw. What level of power is this? He hasn't condensed his own rune yet, but he already has the power of the law. Lu Zhe was shocked. Just now, he even suspected that Song Lu, who was covered in black armor, was Long Chen in disguise. However, he soon overturned his guess, because no one could disguise the thick dark aura, and this person was definitely not Long Chen. However, he was not Long Chen. nor did he condense his own divine talisman. But he possessed such a terrifying power of law, which made him both shocked and angry. Buzz! At this moment, the blood-evil wings behind Song Lu trembled, and his figure flashed, and he instantly rushed in front of Lu Zhe, holding the blood-evil war halberd high. Boom, boom! At the moment when the blood-evil war halberd was raised high, a towering figure appeared behind Song Lu. Law of heaven and earth. When Lu Zhe saw that scene, his face changed drastically. The law of heaven and earth can only be used by God Emperor-level strongmen, and the man in front of him can actually summon it. How is this possible? The battlefield of the heavenly domain cannot accommodate real God Emperor strongmen. Is this fake? Who is this black-armored man? The power of the law of this move is simply terrifying. The legendary law of heaven and earth is the signature skill of God Emperor strongmen. However, there are also some special bloodlines and inheritors who can summon it in the Emperor realm. But the laws of the heavenly realm battlefield cannot allow people to break through to the Emperor realm here, right? When people saw the law of heaven and earth, they were all shocked. As Song Lu became more and more powerful, his puppet aura was hidden. At this time, it was difficult for outsiders to tell that he was a puppet. They all thought that he was a mysterious and powerful person who was unwilling to show his true face. This is absolutely fake. I don't believe you can really use the law of heaven and earth. The 8-star battle body open. Lu Zhe roared. He was indeed frightened. The breath of the law of heaven and earth was too terrifying, especially when the huge figure slowly raised the sky-supporting halberd in his hand. The hair on his body stood up. Boom! Lu Zhe slashed with the halberd in his hand, and the huge figure behind him also slashed down with a halberd. At the same time, Song Lu shouted, "Dark God Punishment! Ka!" When Song Lu pronounced the name of this move, the void broke, the order was broken, and this halberd seemed to cut through time and space and subvert the future. This was the first time that Song Lu pronounced the name of a move after becoming Long Chen's puppet. Obviously, if it was not pronounced, this move could not be fully performed. And this attack contained all of Song Lu's power. This was an attack that exterminated the world. The Milky Way cuts off eternity. Facing Song Lu's full-strength attack, Lu Zhe roared, and the star armor around him glowed, and also formed a star giant. The star claws in his hand rapidly grew larger and were grabbed by the star giant, crossing the sky, like a galaxy, blocking eternity. Boom! The sky-lifting halberd slashed at the galaxy, and the galaxy exploded instantly, illuminating the universe. However, in front of the stars, its light was only a flash in the pan. As soon as the starlight bloomed, it was absorbed by the strange power. Puff! The galaxy exploded, and the star giant collapsed. Lu Zhe spurted out a mouthful of blood. At this time, he had a hideous face, staring at Song Lu, and roared, "Dark Divine Punishment is the unique skill of the direct descendant of the Lord of Darkness. Who are you?" Dark Divine Punishment, in the Age of Chaos, that was a name that made the 9 heavens strong men shudder. This move contained extremely terrifying dark power, which could destroy the laws of heaven and earth and change the battlefield environment. In the Age of Chaos, once someone used Dark Divine Punishment on the battlefield, the entire battlefield would be infected by the dark power, and the strong men of the 9 heavens world would be suppressed by the dark power and quickly slaughtered by the dark strong men, and they would not even have time to escape. However, the Dark Divine Punishment used by Song Lu at this time, without the blessing of the power of faith of the Lord of Darkness, was not only much less powerful, but also had a great impact on the battlefield. More, and also lost the ability to change the laws of the world. But even so, the terrifying dark power still made Lu Zhe's internal organs burn, and even his soul seemed to be burned by a strange flame, which was extremely uncomfortable. However, what made him most uncomfortable was that when he summoned the 8-star battle body, he was shocked to find that his original power was leaking out uncontrollably. With a full-strength attack, he could only exert 80% at most. Lu Zhe stared at Song Lu, and at the same time, he was also looking at the starry sky above his head. He had vaguely guessed that his star power was sucked away by this mysterious starry sky. His star power can speed up Long Chen's nirvana. When Fei Shuang heard Kuan Ding's soul transmission, the stars under his feet flashed, and he rushed to Lu Zhe first. I let you escape last time, this time you'd better stay alive. Boom, boom, boom. Fei Shuang's divine talisman lit up between his eyebrows, and his 8-star combat body emerged. He stepped on the nebula step and rushed towards Lu Zhe like a flash of lightning. Another 9-star descendant? The strong men in the distance exclaimed. No, from the tone, they don't seem to be in the same group. Boom! Just as people were surprised, Fei Shuang had already rushed in front of Lu Zhe. The star arm glowed, and a punch blasted. Lu Zhe had just endured Songlu's full-strength attack. Songlu's terrifying dark power invaded his body, and the whole person was extremely uncomfortable. But it was too late to summon the star claw. He gritted his teeth and followed with a punch. Crack! The two fists met, and Lu Zhe's arm was broken by Fei Shuang's punch. Damn it! Lu Zhe roared, and he realized at this time that Songlu's attack was far from as simple as it looked. The dark power infected his star power, making his power not flow smoothly and his strength greatly reduced. At this moment, he couldn't even block Fei Shuang's star arm, which made him shocked and angry. There was dark power corroding his body, and there were stars outside suppressing and absorbing his star power. He was in crisis in an instant. Don't let him run away. Seeing the horror on Lu Zhe's face, Fei Shuang shouted, flashing the nebula step under his feet, and rushed straight to Lu Zhe. The last time Lu Zhe showed this expression, he ran away instantly. This time, Fei Shuang rushed forward to hold this guy back. Buzz! At this moment, the star claw fell into Lu Zhe's hand. His left back was broken and could not be restored in a short time. He swung the star claw with his right hand and smashed Fei Shuang. Bang! Fei Shuang swung the star arm to resist, and hit the God Emperor's magic weapon hard. With a loud bang, the starlight exploded like broken gold, and Fei Shuang was shaken away by a claw. Boom, boom, boom. When Fei Shuang flew backwards, her nebula step flashed continuously. She used the nebula step to slow down the horrible impact, but in the end, she still spurted out a mouthful of blood. Fei Shuang was extremely sturdy and ignored the injuries in her body. The power of the stars burst out again and she rushed towards Lu Zhe again. The desperate posture made Lu Zhe tremble. Lu Zhe was really panicked this time. Fei Shuang could use her arms to shake his star claws, which showed that he was too weakened under this starry sky. Ha! Lu Zhe refused to fight Fei Shuang head-on. His figure flickered, and his nebula step trembled, and he was about to escape. Bang! And just as he turned around, a brick hit him hard on the back of his head. This unexpected blow directly knocked him to the point of seeing stars and dizziness. Bang! After being hit by a brick, Lu Zhe reacted quickly enough. He swung the star claw in his hand backwards, and the void was torn into a large piece by this claw. Unfortunately, there was no one behind him and this blow hit nothing. Bang! However, just when Lu Zhe saw that there was nothing behind him and felt bad, he was hit by a brick on the back of his head again, and his body could not help but stagger forward 2 steps. Hee. It turns out that Shao Tian is so powerful. No wonder Brother Long Chun likes to use you so much. Huolinger held the heaven-flipping seal and hit Lu Zhe twice in a row. Lu Zhe didn't understand what was going on, which made Huolinger laugh. Although the heaven-flipping seal can also do it by itself, its insufficient source of power will make the ability of hitting with bricks easy to be detected. But if someone controls it, the success rate will be greatly increased. Star Law Destruction. Huolinger's 2 bricks directly stopped Lu Zhe, and at this time Fei Shuang saw that the opportunity had come, and she shouted, and the starlight around her disappeared instantly. And on her fist, the Luo runes lit up, and she directly sacrificed Bingyi's strongest move. Lu Zhe was hit twice by a brick, and he was shocked and angry. Before he could figure out what was going on, Fei Shuang's fatal blow was already in front of him. Go to hell! Lu Zhe was completely furious. His imperial flame bloomed. His life talisman burned, and all the star power in his body was instantly injected into the star claw. Star Sea seal the sky, Lu Zhe roared, and with the star claw as the center, a star shield of 100 feet was blooming. In that shield, all of Lu Zhe's strength was accumulated. He knew the horror of this move, and he had to go all out. Boom! Fei Shuang punched on the Star Sea shield, and Fei Shuang and Lu Zhe spit out blood at the same time. One attacked and the other defended, and neither could do anything to the other. Lu Zhe's face was distorted, and the hand that had just been broken had recovered. He quickly formed a seal, and suddenly, on the star shield, endless stars rushed towards Fei Shuang like a tide. He wanted to use the most violent power to directly shock Fei Shuang to death. Moreover, he was in the protection range of the shield at this time, and he was not afraid of sneak attacks from behind. He hated Fei Shuang to the bone and wanted to kill her at this time. Although Fei Shuang was powerful, she was not a true descendant of the 9 stars after all. Her star power was far less powerful than Lu Zhe's. At this time, the two of them were facing each other and fighting in the most brutal way. Fei Shuang could not take shortcuts. In a violent confrontation, Fei Shuang would inevitably suffer a great loss. However, at this moment, a beautiful figure appeared behind Fei Shuang. It was Yu Shaoqian. She pressed one hand on Fei Shuang's back and formed a seal with the other hand. At the same time, the demon symbol on her forehead lit up. Origin transfer, Yu Shaoqian whispered softly, and Fei Shuang's breath suddenly soared a lot, and the suppressed star power suddenly burst out. What? When Lu Zhe felt Fei Shuang's breath soaring, his face changed drastically. He only knew that Fei Shuang's original star power was weaker than his. Even compared with Bingyi, it was slightly inferior. But what he didn't know was that Fei Shuang's original demon power and star power could be converted into each other, which was a bit similar to the conversion of Long Chen's bloodline power. However, when Fei Shuang's original demon power was converted into star power, there would be a certain amount of consumption in the middle, which was incomparable to Long Chen. But Fei Shuang also had a huge advantage. That is, she could accept the blessing power of the original demon clan, especially after Yu Shaoqian activated the blessing power. Her original demon power could be shared with Fei Shuang, and Yu Shaoqian's original demon power was as vast as the sea. With her help, Fei Shuang could squander it to her heart's content. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The endless original demon power was converted into star power and consumed Lu Zhe. At that moment, Lu Zhe's face became extremely ugly. His star power was absorbed by the starry sky and offset by Fei Shuang. His original power was rapidly decreasing. At the same time, he sensed that his star power was flowing into Kuan Ding, and even sensed the breath of Long Chen in Kuan Ding. Damn it! Is this a trap they designed? Lu Zhe felt terrified at that moment. He felt like a prey that had been delivered to his doorstep, and death was approaching him mercilessly step by step. Come out! Lu Zhe roared, and suddenly he crushed a talisman covered with stars. Boom! Suddenly, the void exploded, and a space gate emerged, followed by starlight, and tens of thousands of figures emerged. Oh my God! So many 9 stars! The masters in the distance were completely stunned when they saw tens of thousands of 9 stars masters appear. Lord Lu Zhe! When this group of 9-star descendants appeared, they were shocked to see Lu Zhe in such a mess. Kill them all! Leave no one alive! Kill them all! Lu Zhe roared. Lu Zhe directly used his last trump card and summoned all the 9 stars under his command. Lu Zhe actually had some selfish motives. He was greedy, and his greed was even greater than his loyalty to the son of the Star Lord. He wanted to take the cauldron of heaven and earth for himself, so when he first attacked, he did not let his men participate. If he could take the cauldron of heaven and earth for himself, he would immediately take it for himself. He believed that if Long Chen could conquer the cauldron of heaven and earth, he could certainly do so. And to get the cauldron of heaven and earth, he had to conquer it as soon as possible. Only by conquering the cauldron of heaven and earth could he save his life. Although these people were his men, they would definitely choose the son of the Star Lord between him and the son of the Star Lord, and his betrayal would definitely be attacked by them. Therefore, he would never use his men unless it was absolutely necessary. Once these men were used, it meant that even if he got the cauldron of heaven and earth, He could not keep it for himself and could only hand it over. When Lu Zhe thought that he would completely become the master of the chaos artifact, his heart was bleeding and he was filled with resentment. Master Lu Zhe, they are the first demon clan. Master Star Lord wants us to capture them alive. One of the 9-star heirs stood in front of everyone and said hesitantly, He, have you become too arrogant and don't even listen to my orders? Is the first demon clan more important? Or is the cauldron of heaven and earth more important? I know better than you, do it now. Lu Zhe roared. The man named He, although nominally a subordinate of Lu Zhe, actually has a great background and is only slightly inferior to Lu Zhe in strength. Moreover, he is the most fanatical believer of the son of the Star Lord, and Lu Zhe is most afraid of him. Hearing Lu Zhe's words, He and others noticed the bronze tripod with a dazzling divine light behind them, and their hearts were shocked. Everyone, follow the order of Lord Lu Zhe and kill all the people of the beginning demon clan. He shouted, Kill! Hearing He's order, all the tens of thousands of 9-stars strong men roared. The killing sound shook the sky, and the stars around them flashed, like a series of meteors, rushing towards the beginning demon clan camp. Swear to protect Lord Long Chun. All the beginning demon clan's strong men roared. But this time, their slogan is no longer to protect Lord Saint Ant, because they know that the gap between their own strength and the strength of the 9 stars is huge. I'm afraid that none of the strong men of the beginning demon clan can survive, including their Lord Saint Ant. They have only been with Long Chun for a few days, but Long Chen's bravery and fearlessness, his emphasis on friendship and loyalty, and his promises have completely conquered them. The contract with the 9 stars has been broken, but Long Chun has re-inspired the promise deep in their souls with his passionate friendship and his courage to be the enemy of the whole world for the beginning demon clan. They are all descendants of the 9 stars, but they are willing to sacrifice their lives for Long Chun and dare to face death bravely. They are facing the strongest warrior in the world. They know that there is no return, but no one in the Shuremo clan retreats. With a loud bang, Fei Shuang's arm trembles, and she and Yu Shaoqian work together to shake Lu Zhe away. Fei Shuang and Yu Shaoqian stand side by side. The two look at each other and nod slightly. This nod seems to be an agreement in the next life. The two of them seal their hands at the same time, and the talisman between their eyebrows burns. They burn their life talismans at the same time, ready to make a last-ditch effort, using their lives to buy time for Long Chun. Don't take the initiative to attack. Set up the Galaxy Demon Array. At this moment, Kuanding's voice sounded in Yu Shaoqian's mind. Yu Shaoqian was stunned, and hurriedly said, The Galaxy Demon Array has long been lost, and the Galaxy Demon Array requires the participation of the strong men of the Shuremo clan and the 9 stars. I will now pass the complete array to you. You use Fei Shuang as the center of the array and absorb the power of the stars above your head. Although it cannot reach the level of your ancestors, it is enough to resist for a while. Buzz? 1. 7 As Kuanding's words fell, Yu Shaoqian's mind had a lot of information, and this information, as her eyebrows glowed, all the disciples of the Shuremo clan also received it. Boom, boom. The powerful men of the beginning demon clan who were originally running out retreated one after another. Seeing this scene, the powerful men of the 9 stars lineage showed a sneer on their faces. So it was just a pretense. A group of pitiful ants. Giving up resistance will only reduce your pain. Buzz. However, at this moment, the demon divine symbol on the foreheads of all the powerful men of the beginning demon clan glowed, and when the powerful men of the 9 stars lineage came close, all the powerful men of the beginning demon clan disappeared on the spot. What? Suddenly they turned around and found that all the people of the beginning demon clan had come behind them, standing under the Kuanding, and arranged in a mysterious formation. It's just a trick. Don't pay attention. Violently kill. Seize the Chen Kuanding as quickly as possible. While others are still absorbing the power of luck and perfecting the power of law, we only have one chance. Lu Zhe shouted loudly. Lu Zhe's thinking was not wrong. Although Lu Zhe had condensed the divine symbol of his life, the power of law had not been completely perfected, and there was still a huge room for improvement. But he chose to make his move at this time for this reason, because when you improve, others are also improving. If he could seize the Chen Ding and subdue it before others improve, then he didn't believe that with his strength, no one could threaten him, and he had enough time to perfect his power of law. Until now, he had a glimmer of hope. If he seized the Chen Ding, if he could subdue it without anyone noticing, the Chen Ding would still be his. Just as the army of the 9 stars approached the Kuan Ding, all the powerful men of the Shurimo clan formed seals with their hands. The stars in the sky trembled, and the stars fell and concentrated on Feishuang, the center of the formation. Feishuang pressed her hands on Yu Shaoqian's jade back, and the stars circulated around her, and the power of the stars poured into Yu Shaoqian's body. The divine rune on Yu Shaoqian's forehead was instantly ignited by the power of the stars, and then all the runes on the eyebrows of the powerful men of the Shurimo clan also appeared with stars. This is impossible. Can the beginning demon clan use the power of stars? This is absolutely fake. When seeing this scene, all the 9 stars, including Lu Zhe and Ying He, had their hearts pounding. They couldn't believe what they saw. They didn't know the Star River Demon Control Formation, but they knew the power of stars. When every beginning demon clan powerhouse was wrapped in the power of stars, the impact was simply unimaginable to them. Don't let them form a formation. Kill them, Lu Zhe shouted. He had consumed a lot of star power because of the hard fight with Feishuang. At this time, he was taking the time to recover. He didn't participate in the battle, but only commanded from behind. Die! He was the first to kill, and he smashed the sky with a punch and slammed towards the beginning demon clan powerhouses. Buzz! Suddenly, a star curtain rose up, covering everyone. He punched the light curtain and was actually bounced out directly. The star curtain was stretched open, covering Kuan Ding together. The stars in the sky were flowing, and Feishuang seemed to be blessed by the stars. The power of the stars gathered on her body and then transferred to Yu Shaoqian. Yu Shaoqian transmitted it to every powerful person of the Shurimo clan through her natal rune. Everyone worked together to stretch out the star formation. On the star curtain, the stars were flowing, as if the star dragon was wandering, emitting endless divine light. The sacred breath could suppress the evil demons in the sky. When Yu Shaoqian saw this scene, she was stunned. She couldn't believe that this terrifying formation was actually built by them. Boom, boom, boom. At this time, all the strong men of the 9 stars lineage waved their fists and bombarded the star curtain frantically. They punched out and the space broke inch by inch. Each punch was accompanied by the power of destroying the world. They were all elite strong men in the 9 stars lineage, all of whom were in the extreme realm of the human emperor. Most of them had condensed their natal runes. Their power was extremely terrifying. However, their terrifying power, when it hit the star curtain, could only create ripples but could not break the star curtain. The Star River Demon Control Array was created by the Star Lord for the first demon clan. In the past, some of the first demon clan had gifted geniuses who were personally injected with the power of the stars by the Star Lord. This star power became a seed, quietly taking root and sprouting in the first demon clan. Kuan Ding's voice rang in the minds of the first demon clan's strong men. Senior, what you mean is that the reason why Feishuang can control the power of the stars is because her ancestors once possessed the power of the stars. Yu Shaoqian said excitedly. Not only Feishuang, but all of your ancestors have the ability to control the power of the stars. Because those who cannot control the power of the stars died in the Chaos War. Kuan Ding said. Hearing this, the first demon clan's strong men were shocked. If it wasn't Kuan Ding who said this, they wouldn't dare to believe it. Kuan Ding continued, Star Lord, that is a great existence. His personal charm is the same as Long Chen's. Otherwise, all races would not be willing to sacrifice their lives for him. Although he failed, no one in the 9 heavens and 10 earths, even his enemies, dared to slander him. The Star Lord once paid a lot for your Shurimo clan, and it was the kind of selfless dedication, so your Shurimo clan would trust him wholeheartedly. The relationship between the Shurimo clan and the Star Lord at that time was the same as your relationship with Long Chun now, just like a new reincarnation except that the people have changed. Don't question the decision of your ancestors because of the so-called orthodox 9-star descendants now. That is a blasphemy to them. Just like the long river of time flowing, thousands of years later, your descendants will question your risking your life to protect Longchun today. The Star River Demon Control Formation is a gift left to you by the Star Lord, and at the same time, it is also a means for you to deal with the 9-star descendants. What? All the powerful members of the first demon clan were shocked. The Star Lord actually passed on the means to deal with the descendants of the 9 stars to the first demon clan? Kuan-Ding said, Long Chun can entrust his life to you without reservation. Similarly, the Star Lord at that time also trusted the first demon clan without reservation. In the Chaos Era, there were powerful members of the first demon clan who possessed the power of the first demon clan and the power of the stars. The demon pattern on your forehead with the blessing of the power of the stars is no longer just targeting the demon clan, but has the power to restrain the power of the stars. So, you also see how terrifying the power of the 9 stars is, but it can never break your barrier. Boom, boom, boom. At this time, a loud explosion sounded, and ripples appeared on the barrier. The roaring sound was like the drums of the gods beating, and the heavens trembled. The descendants of the 9 stars, who have always been known as the strongest warriors in the 9 heavens and 10 earths, bombarded with all their strength at this time, but could not break the barrier for a while. The spectators in the distance were a little confused when they saw this scene. Wasn't the 9 stars lineage in the same group as the beginning demon clan? And that Kuan-Ding was Long Chen's magic weapon, and Long Chun was not the descendant of the 9 stars? What was going on? Each of you has the origin of the stars in your body. Today, with the help of the Galaxy Demon Array, let's see if we can awaken your dormant origin power. Carefully feel the fluctuations in your blood and soul. Feel it, and dig it out. Kuan-Ding said. All the powerful people of the beginning demon clan tried their best to feel it, but the power of the stars flowed in their bodies, but there was no sign of stagnation. Their bodies were just channels for the flow of the star power, and there was no reaction at all. Seeing this, Kuan-Ding couldn't help but sigh. Everyone's star origin had dissipated. Fei Shuang was the only one whose star origin was activated. She was the only one who could carry the power of the stars. Because she lost an arm, she forced Long Chun to take the star arm for her. This is probably not a coincidence, right? Ha ha ha, the 9 stars lineage? The beginning demon clan? How interesting, is it a dog-eat-dog fight? At this moment, a sinister laugh came. A black fog floated in the distance. Wherever the fog passed, the space was corroded and made a strange squeak. In the black fog, a large group of figures could be vaguely seen, but their appearance could not be seen. But looking at the black fog, it gave people a creepy feeling, especially in the black fog, a looming figure, as if a demon walked out of hell. Seeing the black fog, Lu Zhe's face changed slightly, and he said coldly, It's not your turn to point fingers at my 9 stars lineage. Get out of here if you know what's good for you. 9 nether shadow demon? When Lu Zhe said this, countless onlookers were moved. The 9 nether shadow demon is a very difficult race among the demons outside the domain. They have extremely strange abilities and can transform between entity and illusion in the black fog. Moreover, they have extremely terrifying vitality, amazing attack power, and excellent means of escape. In the Chaos Realm, not many people are willing to provoke them. I didn't expect them to come. TSK, 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 TSK. The 9 stars lineage is really arrogant. This tone is really too big. However, you can't scare us. That's the Chen Kuan-Ding, one of the 10 great chaos artifacts. You, the 9 stars lineage, want to take it all for yourself. Aren't you afraid that you will be stuffed to death? The gloomy voice came from the black fog. Obviously, this group of 9 nether shadow demon clan strongmen came for the Chen Kuan-Ding. Moreover, they stood out at this time, approaching the battlefield step by step, as if they were ready to attack at any time. A bunch of lowly demons. Aren't you afraid that the demon seal of the first demon clan will suppress you directly? Lu Zhe sneered. Yes, but we are more afraid of losing the Chenkuan cauldron, so we want to give it a try. Buzz! As the man's voice fell, the black mist directly crashed into the formation. Boom, boom. The 9 Nether Shadow Demon Clan, wrapped in a cloud of black fog, rushed towards the barrier without hesitation. At this time, the barrier was completely surrounded by the 9 Stars clan. The 9 Nether Shadow Demon Clan attacked at this time, completely ignoring the 9 Stars clan. Lord Lu Zhe. The 9 Stars clan's strong men were furious. The 9 Nether Shadow Demon Clan was so arrogant that they clearly did not take the 9 Stars clan seriously. They hurriedly asked Lu Zhe for instructions. Ignore them, give them some space, and let them help us consume the power of the first demon clan. The first demon clan now has the power of the stars and has a certain ability to restrain us. Instead of going to war with the 9 Nether Shadow Demon Clan, it is better to see what the 9 Nether Shadow Demon Clan is up to. Don't rush to attack, save some strength, and I will be able to fully recover in another hour. By then, Lu Zhe snorted coldly. Before, he was absorbed by the strange starry sky above his head, which greatly reduced his strength. Now that the power of the starry sky has been added to Fei Shuang, he has no more power to restrain him. And the strong men of the 9 Nether Shadow Demon Clan forcibly intervening is not a bad thing for them. Lord Lu Zhe, we and the 9 Nether Shadow Demon Clan are worldly enemies. I'm afraid it's not appropriate to attack with them. A strong man of the 9 Stars frowned. After all, there are countless eyes staring at this place outside. If this gets out, it will probably have a huge impact on the reputation of the 9 Stars clan. Is our reputation important? Or is the Chengkuan Ding of the Star-Lord's son more important? Lu Zhe snorted. When the Star-Lord's son was mentioned, everyone stopped talking and retreated, making room for the 9 Nether Shadow Demon Clan. The strong men of the 9 Stars clan retreated, which immediately caused boos from the outside. Oh my God, what did I see? The 9 Stars, who are always known for their toughness, actually gave in. The 9 Stars actually joined forces with their mortal enemy? And the one who joined forces to attack them was actually the Shur-Mo clan, who were once their closest comrades. As expected, there are no absolute enemies in this world, only absolute interests. The 9 Stars are no different. What proud and natural, what would rather break than bend, what the strongest warrior in the 9 heavens, are all bullshit bah. Some people even deliberately shouted coldly, obviously very disgusted with the behavior of the 9 Stars. The strong men watching the battle on the periphery came from the Chaos world and the 9 heavens world. They hid in the dark, and no one knew who they were, or even which clan they came from. At this time, the 9 Stars could not withdraw, and they could criticize them unscrupulously. The ridicule of these people made the 9 Stars strong men feel hot on their faces, but they could only pretend not to hear it. Boom, boom, boom. The 9 Stars gave up their position and instantly formed a pincer attack with the 9 Nether Shadow Demon Clan. The 2 major forces attacked the barrier frantically, and the barrier trembled wildly under the attack of the 2 forces. Damn it! A group of foreign demons dared to be so arrogant. Should we activate the demon killing seal and kill them? A strong man from the first demon clan gritted his teeth and said, "The first demon clan is the nemesis of all demons. When the demons see them, it's like a mouse seeing a cat. And now, this group of foreign demons is so arrogant that they immediately got angry. No, this group of foreign demons came strangely. They knew that we had the power to kill them, but they still rushed over unscrupulously. Either they have a trump card to resist us, or they deliberately want to lure us into action. Don't be fooled. Our current goal is to protect Longchen. Everyone should concentrate and calm down, and don't be disturbed," Yu Shaoqian said. After hearing Yu Shaoqian's words, Kuan Ding couldn't help but nod secretly. Yu Shaoqian looked weak, but in fact she was very wise and could tell something was wrong at a glance. Yu Shaoqian's weakness is often only reflected in front of Long Chun, because Long Chun is too strong in all aspects, which makes Yu Shaoqian look a little weak. But it is definitely not a coincidence that Yu Shaoqian was chosen by the Shur-Mo clan as the Saint Ant and regarded as the successor of the Shur-Mo Emperor and the highest authority of the Shur-Mo clan. Hearing Yu Shaoqian say this, everyone's heart trembled, and they hurriedly suppressed their anger and concentrated on controlling the power of the stars for defense. Oh, isn't this the great Shur-Mo clan? It is said that the divine pattern can suppress the evil demons of the heavens. Now the evil demons in your eyes are right in front of you. Why are you wilting? Just then, an evil voice came from the black fog. The first demon clan, you are so pitiful. You betrayed your own race and became dogs for the 9 stars. Now people want to eat dog meat. Ha ha ha. It's really funny. Children of the first demon clan, when the barrier is broken in a while, we will use our teeth to bite off the flesh from your bodies one bite at a time and make you pay for your betrayal. Don't worry, we won't kill you. But we will make you live a life worse than death, for eternity, and endure endless torture. The group of strong men from the 9 Nether Shadow Demon Clan kept provoking the first demon clan. Their voices were as unpleasant as scraping iron. The barrier could resist their attacks, but not their voices. There was an evil and bewitching meaning in their voices, which made people upset and angry. However, the strong men from the first demon clan were even more frightened when they heard the provocation of these people. This group of shadow demons provoked them in this way just to force them to take action. Although they didn't know what their purpose was, they must have an incredible conspiracy. Fortunately, the Saint Lady saw through their means. Shut up! The divine sound of killing demons, Xin, Yu Shaoqian suddenly shouted coldly, spitting out a divine sound, and when that sound came out, a sound wave spread. Puff, puff, puff. The strong men from the 9 Nether Shadow Demon Clan who kept cursing on the periphery spurted blood and screamed one after another. Hundreds of fogs dissipated, revealing a creature with disheveled hair, a long nose and sharp teeth. Is this the true appearance of the 9 Nether Shadow Demon? How disgusting! Someone in the distance exclaimed. These shadow demons are similar in shape to humans, but they are shriveled, like corpses with sunken eye sockets, and you can't see the eyeballs. You can only see 2 black holes which emit a faint green light. Just one look makes people's scalps numb. These 9 Nether Shadow Demons who were scolding were attacked by Yu Shaoqian's divine sound. Their tongues burst, and they screamed in pain while covering their heads. Obviously, not only their tongues burst, but even their souls were attacked. Oh my God! Just one sound has such a terrifying power. The Shur-Mo clan is really the nemesis of all demons. Someone was shocked by Yu Shaoqian's sound. Buzz! When Yu Shaoqian sent out the divine sound to counterattack, the void behind the 9 Nether Shadow Demon clan twisted slightly, but after the twist, it quickly returned to calm. However, through the twisted space, countless people's hearts were shocked because they saw a terrifying scene. What is that? At the moment when the space was distorted, someone saw a huge head emerging from behind the distorted space. The huge head was extremely blurry and its appearance could not be seen clearly, but its pair of cold eyes were like lanterns in hell, which was creepy. The moment everyone saw the head, they felt their bodies stiffen, as if their souls were about to be peeled off from their bodies. Although they only saw it vaguely, that one glance was enough to arouse the most primitive fear in people's hearts. It's the extraterritorial demon, the soul-swallowing blood toad. Yu Shaoqian and others also saw it. At that moment, the faces of the powerful people of the Shur-Mo clan changed. The soul-swallowing blood toad is one of the most vicious alien species among the extraterritorial evil demons. Its body is like a toad, and its whole body is covered with blood-colored mucous membranes. That is its natural array shield. Any physical attack is difficult to break through that layer of mucous membrane. Its life rune gives the mucous membrane a strong absorption and rebound force. Moreover, it has a terrifying swallowing ability. The most terrifying thing is that it has the magical power to absorb souls through the air. Before, Yu Shaoqian used the magic sound of the demon killer to test the opponent's means. When Yu Shaoqian used the magic sound of the demon killer, the barrier of the Galaxy Demon Control Array was rippled. The soul-devouring blood toad was hiding in the dark, waiting for the counterattack of the first demon clan. If the power of Yu Shaoqian's magic sound was stronger, there would be a loophole in the Galaxy Demon Control Array, and then the soul-devouring blood toad would use its magical power to attack the first demon clan from a distance. Damn it! Weren't the soul-devouring blood toads killed in the Chaos War? How come they are still there? Fei Shuang couldn't help but grit his teeth. The soul-devouring blood toad's power of swallowing souls from a distance is a great threat to the first demon clan, because the magic pattern of the first demon clan is driven by the power of the soul. Even if the soul power of the first demon clan will not be sucked away, as long as it is affected by the soul-devouring blood toad, the power of the first demon will be greatly reduced. At this time, the Galaxy Demon Control Array maintains a balance between the power of the stars and the power of the first demon. Once the balance is broken, the formation will collapse instantly. When they thought of this, everyone felt a chill down their spines. No wonder this group of 9 nether shadow demons were so arrogant. It turned out that they were trying to lure them into attacking. The real killer move was the soul-devouring blood toad hidden in the dark. The soul-devouring blood toad has terrifying strength, but low intelligence. It should be the companion beast of a powerful person. However, companion beasts can only open up a companion space for them to live in after they advance to the realm of the Emperor and condense complete law runes. Could there be a powerful Emperor hidden in it? Fei Shuang couldn't help but ask. Yu Shaoqian shook her head and said, "The limitation of the companion space may have been broken by these strong men from outside the domain." Long Chun also said that he fought with a strong man and was about to kill him, but the other party summoned a terrifying monster and ultimately failed to defeat him. It seems that there must be a terrifying existence behind this soul-devouring blood toad. The 9 nether shadow demon is just that person's bait. He can control the soul-devouring blood toad and command the 9 nether shadow demon clan to risk being killed and act as bait. This person's strength is probably amazing. Yu Shaoqian was full of worries. There was the 9 stars lineage in front of her, the 9 nether shadow demon behind her, and a terrifying strong man who was watching covetously on the side. The invisible pressure made it difficult to breathe. She looked up at the Chenkuan cauldron and found that there was nothing unusual. She didn't know how long it would take Long Chun to complete nirvana, and whether they could hold on until that moment. The noise here is getting louder and louder. The news of the appearance of Chenkuan Ding must have spread long ago. I don't know how many terrifying strong men will come. Now, the strong men who came here all hope to take down Kuan Ding before those top strong men condensed the complete law rune. They gave up perfecting their own runes and put all their hopes here, wanting to win big with a small investment. Boom, boom. With the appearance of the soul-swallowing blood toad, the strong men of the 9 stars lineage were also shocked. They didn't take the 9 nether shadow demon clan seriously, but they were very afraid of the mysterious existence behind the 9 nether shadow demon. The attack continued, but the strong men on both sides did not burst out with all their strength. They needed to maintain a certain strength to deal with this sudden change. However, their attack did not stop. The power of the beginning demon clan was continuously consumed. Although the power of the stars was endless, the original power of the beginning demon clan was limited. After an hour, Yu Shaoqian's face was slightly pale. As a bridge to transfer the power of the stars, she consumed the most in the whole game. Sir Saint. Fei Shuang looked worried. I can still hold on. Yu Shaoqian signaled Fei Shuang not to worry about herself and to control the power of the stars. Fei Shuang was the key to this formation and she could not be distracted. It's really interesting. The 9 stars lineage actually joined forces with the 9 nether shadow demon to deal with the former followers. In this case, it seems that our Kunping clan should also join in the fun. At this time, the void roared in the distance, and a group of figures appeared. The moment they appeared, the vast sea of blood and chi poured down like a mountain. Tens of thousands of strong men appeared, and the demonic energy suddenly surged into the sky. The strong men of the Kunping clan appeared. The leader was like an iron tower, and his bald head was covered with centipede-like runes, which looked hideous and terrifying. This person held a giant mace, and every step forward, the whole world was shaking slightly. What a terrifying blood and chi! Who is this person? Someone exclaimed. The Kunping clan, the peerless genius who was sealed in the Chaos-era Kuan gang, is said to have been born with a strange phenomenon in the sky, with dense void runes. After this person was born, the void runes in the sky were added to his body, making him extremely powerful, able to tear the void with his bare hands, and known as the first strong man of the Kuanping clan. Someone whispered, "The strong man of the Chaos era was awakened in this life. Judging from the situation, he is likely to dominate the world." Someone said in a deep voice, "Even if he wants to dominate the world, it is not his turn." "What do you mean?" "Because Kuan Gang has an older brother named Kuan Chi. He is the strongest existence in the history of the Kuanping clan." "How strong is he? How strong is Kuan Chi?" "No one knows. This is a rumor I got. There is no way to verify the details. You can just treat it as a joke." The man obviously didn't want to say too much so as not to get into trouble. "The Kuanping clan came from our Jotian world, but we don't know." Just when everyone was guessing the purpose of the Kuanping clan's visit, Kuan Gang said, "Long Chun, you have killed my Kuanping clan disciples several times and insulted the prestige of my Kuanping clan. Today we should settle the matter with interest." "Who?" Kuan Gang waved his hand, and all the disciples of the Kuanping clan rushed towards the barrier like a torrent of blood and energy. Sure enough, the Kuanping clan is also coming for the Chen Kuan Ding. People's hearts trembled, especially those powerful people from the Nine Heavens world hidden in the dark. The temptation of the Chen Kuan Ding was too great, so great that it could make people forget their hatred temporarily. The Nine Heavens world and the foreign evil demons were mortal enemies, but at this time the Kuanping clan did not attack the foreign evil demons. And the foreign evil demons did not stop the Kuanping clan. The original pincer attack from the front and back became a three-legged tripod at this time. The three major camps attacked their own and did not interfere with each other. Kuan Gang did not make a move. He carried a huge mace and looked at Lu Zhe coldly. He glanced at the void in the distance, and a mocking look appeared at the corner of his mouth. Obviously, he had noticed the soul-devouring blood toad hidden in the void, but he did not seem to take it to heart. Boom, boom, boom. The three major forces attacked the barrier, and the barrier began to tremble wildly, and the pressure on the powerful people of the Shurimo clan increased sharply. "Damn it, aren't you the Kuanping clan known as the proudest warriors in the 9 heavens and 10 earths? You actually teamed up with the evil demons from outside the domain. You have lost the face of your ancestors." A powerful man from the first demon clan couldn't help but curse. Ha ha ha. Facing the scolding of the powerful man from the first demon clan, Kuan Gang was not angry. Instead, he laughed and said, "Shouldn't the proudest warriors in the 9 heavens and 10 earths be the 9 stars? They have no shame, so why should we have any shame? Besides, we have a grudge against Longchun, and killing people for treasures is also fair and square. At the very least, our Kuanping clan never harms loyal followers. You scolded the wrong people. If you want to scold someone, you should scold them." After Kuan Gang finished speaking, he also pointed at Lu Zhe with his chin, and Lu Zhe's face suddenly darkened. Lu Zhe snorted coldly. "The Kuanping clan was just a subordinate of my 9 stars clan. What kind of confidence do you have to dare to commit treason?" "Treason!" Buzz! Kuan Gang suddenly disappeared from the spot, and the void in front of Lu Zhe suddenly shattered. Kuan Gang's fist had already reached Lu Zhe's face. Lu Zhe shouted angrily and punched out, and the two fists collided. With a dull bang, the two retreated several steps at the same time, but the attack of the two masters did not cause any strange phenomena, and even no strong wind blew. This understated attack did not seem to be in line with the identities of the two people, but insiders saw the door. Kuan Gang's attack was highly concentrated and gathered without dispersing, which showed that his control of power had reached a terrifying level. Even when he retreated, he was calm and unhurried, while Lu Zhe looked a little embarrassed. Obviously, Lu Zhe was slightly inferior in terms of power control. The two of them attacked casually. Kuan Gang did not use the power of blood, and Lu Zhe did not use the power of stars. Kuan Gang retreated several steps, and each step had the effect of shrinking the earth into an inch. After a few steps, he just retreated to the original position, as if he had never moved. Kuan Gang slowly retracted his fist, carrying the mace, looking at Lu Zhe sideways, with a sneer on his lips. "You count as one?" We followed the 9 stars lineage because of the great power of the Star Lord. If you have the ability of the Star Lord, we, the Kunping lineage, are still willing to submit. Unfortunately, the 9 stars lineage is now just a bunch of trash. You! Lu Zhe was furious, clenched his fists, and wanted to use the power of stars to teach this ignorant guy a lesson. However, there was another terrifying existence next to him, and he needed to retain his strength to fight for the Kuan Ding, so he could only grit his teeth and endure. Kuan Gang ignored Lu Zhe, who was gritting his teeth, and looked like he didn't take him seriously at all. Kuan Gang was very arrogant, but he had the strength to be arrogant. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that Kuan Gang's attack was just a probing one, and he withdrew his attack after that, which meant that he had already tested Lu Zhe's strength. Kuan Gang looked tall and strong, like a reckless man, but in fact he was very scheming. Those of you hiding in the dark watching the show, are you waiting to take advantage of the situation? After Kuan Gang finished speaking, the mace on his shoulder suddenly lit up and swung forward. Boom, boom, boom. A terrifying ripple surged out, and the terrifying air wave crushed the space, and the void exploded like thin ice, as if the sky was pulled open, and figures appeared in front of everyone. My God! People exclaimed. Kuan Gang squeezed the space with his stick, and the powerful law force directly forced the strong man hidden in the void to show up. Then people saw the terrifying soul-devouring blood toad, and also saw a mysterious man sitting cross-legged on the top of the sky-devouring golden toad, wearing a bamboo hat and with an unclear face. Facing Kuan Gang's rude behavior, the man wearing a bamboo hat did not react at all. Only the swallowing golden toad under him stared at Kuan Gang with a pair of bloody eyes, and its huge mouth trembled slightly, as if it was ready to devour this rude guy at any time. In addition to the soul-swallowing blood toad and the mysterious man, more than a dozen waves of strong men appeared in the void. These strong men were strange in shape and seemed to come from the chaotic world. The strong men in the 9-day world could not recognize their origins. However, under the pressure of Kuan Gang, their breath could not be hidden. People felt their terrifying fluctuations and could not help but be shocked. These guys seemed to be not easy to deal with. But think about it carefully, easy to deal with would not dare to be greedy for the Chen Kuan Ding, just like them, who only dared to watch the excitement from a distance. Those who dared to compete for the Chen Kuan Ding were basically super strong, not as strong as Lu Zhe, Kuan Gang, and others, and they were probably at the same level and had the strength to fight. Once the formation was broken, anyone should have a chance to take advantage of the chaos. However, once the competition started, it would inevitably be the bloodiest massacre. The Kunping clan is so arrogant. Wait a minute. I will tear your body into pieces and drink with it. In the distance, among a group of strong men, a creature said with a gloomy face. The creature had a white horn on its head and was skinny, like a shriveled monkey. If it were not for the layer of skin, it would fall apart immediately. They were like a group of wolves on the verge of starvation. Being stared at by them would make people feel that the blood in their bodies could not flow. The bone-breaking ape is an invasive species from outside the domain. It is ferocious by nature. Once it enters a violent state, its combat power will increase several times. Someone recognized the origin of the group of creatures. The most terrifying thing about the bone-breaking ape is its violent blood. Once it is aroused, it will instantly go crazy and fearless. It will even die with the enemy. It is very difficult to deal with. However, facing the threat of the strong men of the bone-violent ape clan, Kuan Gang smiled contemptuously. I forced you out to tell you something. If you can't break their barrier immediately, a strong man with a complete natal divine talisman will come to kill us soon. By then, all of us will have no chance to compete. After hearing Kuan Gang's words, Yu Shaoqian and others changed their faces. Sure enough, at this time, the eyes of those creatures all looked at the barrier at the same time. Okay, no one is idle, let's work together and kill these people of the original demon clan first. As for who can get the Chen Kuan Ding, it depends on their ability. A creature from outside the domain shouted. Boom! As he finished speaking, the strong men of his clan around him rushed to the barrier one after another. and the other creatures seemed to have regarded it as some kind of tacit understanding. Except for the leader, all the creatures rushed to the barrier, and for a moment the barrier was instantly shaky. Hundreds of thousands of creatures rushed to the barrier at the same time. They did not interfere with each other, and their strength was concentrated on the magic circle barrier. Can be said that Kuan Gang was very wise. He could see that everyone wanted to retain the strongest strength to fight for the Chen Ding. However, if everyone worked without exerting their strength, it would only give the Shurimo clan more breathing opportunities, and once a strong person who condensed a complete natal divine pattern and controlled the power of the law came, they would have no chance. Therefore, Kuan Gang forced all the strong men out to tell them that if they waited any longer, no one would benefit. In this way, so many strong men attacked at the same time, although they all had some reservations, but so many forces gathered together, the Shurimo clan was suddenly unable to resist. Boom, boom! The galaxy barrier quickly became thinner, and finally became as thin as a cicada's wing, constantly deforming, but this thin barrier was amazingly tough, and so many strong men were still unable to break it. It's interesting. A small formation can resist a force that is dozens of times stronger than theirs. However, in at most one stick of incense, the barrier will break. Kuan Gang had a sinister smile on his face. At this time, not only Kuan Gang, but also other leaders were secretly prepared. At this moment, Kuan Ding trembled slightly, and the endless runes on its body lit up, followed by endless blood-colored petals flying around it. Old Ding, what are you doing? Why are you summoning me? The formation is about to break, and I'm going to kill people. Xiaoyu shouted. You don't have a chance to kill people. You need to join me and work together to merge the power of the stars. Kuan Ding said. Can't you do it alone? There are so many enemies outside. How can a group of kids from the Shurimo clan resist them? Xiaoyu said in a deep voice. Originally, I could have done it by myself, but things have changed. The star power of these 9 stars' descendants was absorbed by the star phenomena of the heavens and injected into Long Chen's body. Long Chen's body has changed and needs to absorb more star power. Moreover, it is at the critical moment of nirvana, which is equivalent to the foundation of the stars. The amount of star power absorbed will directly affect his future achievements. Kuan Ding said. No. Didn't Long Chen say that the star power of these 9 stars' descendants is poison to him? Xiaoyu said. Direct absorption is poison, but their star power, absorbed by the sky curtain, after the transformation of the sky curtain, formed a pure star power. As for why this is the case, I don't know. The current situation has long been developing in a direction that Long Chen expected, and we can only take one step at a time. Kuan Ding said. But Xiaoyu was very worried when he saw the barrier crumbling. There is no but. Long Chen is in a state of nirvana at this time. With the blessing of this inexplicable phenomenon, this opportunity will never come again once it is lost. Kuan Ding said. Okay. Then I'll listen to you. If Long Chen's girlfriend dies, you will be responsible. Xiaoyu muttered. Xiaoyu was also very embarrassed. Long Chen was facing a great opportunity at this time. If he lost it, it would be a regret for Long Chen's whole life. But for this opportunity, if Yu Shaoqian died, Long Chen would definitely go crazy. I will bear all the consequences, Kuan Ding said in a deep voice. Hearing Kuan Ding's words, Xiaoyu didn't hesitate, and millions of blood-colored petals flew. Under the influence of Kuan Ding, dots of stars appeared on each petal. These star spots became 2, 2 became 3, and soon a star map appeared on each petal. At this moment, it seemed that a universe was hidden in each petal. The vast power made Xiaoyu frightened. Old Ding, you won't hurt me, will you? Once such a terrifying power erupts, my body can't bear it at all. Xiaoyu shouted. You don't need to bear this power, you just need to keep it for Long Chen temporarily. Because the appearance of these 9-star descendants has attracted too much star power, and Long Chen's nirvana speed cannot digest these star powers immediately. He needs some time, so you need to cooperate with me and help Long Chen refine them together. Kuan Ding said. Refine so much star power? I can't bear it. Can his flesh and blood body do it? Xiaoyu was shocked. In theory, this kind of power cannot be carried by flesh and blood, but Long Chen's nirvana this time is based on the power of the three bloods, and the supreme bone is the container, and the whole body is to be transformed into stars. This is like a flesh and blood body cannot bear the power of the sea, but a drop of water can do it, and this is Long Chen's purpose. Kuan-Ding said, "It's too complicated, I don't understand, but it sounds like once it succeeds, Long Chen will become very powerful." Xiaoyu said, "It's not very powerful, but it will become very terrifying. That kind of power cannot be described in words." Kuan-Ding said. Hearing Kuan-Ding describe it as terrifying, Xiaoyu suddenly became excited. Boom! However, just when Xiaoyu was excited, a basin of cold water was poured, and the barrier that everyone had stretched out finally reached its limit and exploded. Kill! The moment the barrier exploded, the 9 stars, the 9 nether shadow demons, the Kuan-Ping clan, and all living creatures rushed up like hungry tigers. At the same time, the surrounding space was distorted, and some powerful people who had just arrived saw this scene and rushed over without hesitation. For a while, endless figures came overwhelmingly. Yu Shaoqian gritted her teeth. She glanced at the Chen Kuan-Ding, as if saying goodbye to Long Chen inside. With a long sword in her hand, the little power of the Shurimo clan burst out, and she was going to fight with these people. Although, she knew that these people from the Shurimo clan alone could not stop these terrifying strong men. As long as she could delay a little time for Long Chen, she was willing to fight with her life. Boom, boom! The heaven and earth trembled, and a chariot came roaring like a meteor. On the chariot, lightning flashed, tearing the sky, and the piercing sonic boom made the heavens tremble. The chariot was so fast that people thought it was rushing towards Kuan-Ding at first, but they didn't expect it to hit the attackers hard. Looking for death, the creatures that were hit were furious and resisted. Puff, puff, puff. The chariot's lightning flashed and exploded with a bang. The terrifying power directly blew thousands of strong men into powder. Damn it! Who is it? The chariot was actually detonated by someone, and someone roared angrily. Puff! As a result, a thunder arrow pierced his head and killed him instantly. People followed the lightning and saw a woman holding a longbow in the distance. Lightning arcs kept blooming around her, like the goddess of thunder descending to the world. And behind her, tens of thousands of strong men flashing with thunder runes had already taken up a fighting posture. If you want to attack Long Chen, then you have to step over my body first. All members of the Lei Falcon clan, listen to my order. Even if we have to fight to the last man, we must protect Long Chen's safety. Kill! As Lei Yuner gave the order, all the strong men of the Lei Falcon clan rushed into the battle like a thunderstorm. Where did you come from, you idiots? Since you want to die, I'll grant your wish. The Thunder Falcon clan rushed into the battlefield at a very fast speed. A strong man from outside the domain shouted angrily and waved his magic weapon to kill him. Puff! As soon as the figure of the strong man from outside the domain moved, a thunder arrow instantly pierced his body, and blood mist filled the sky. The strong man was a strong man who condensed his life talisman. He was extremely powerful, but he was killed by Lei Yuner with one arrow. Looking for death, the strong man was killed, and immediately a roar came. The leader of this clan finally couldn't sit still, and in a rage he rushed straight to Lei Yuner. If it weren't for Long Chen, I wouldn't have had the chance to obtain the inheritance twice. If it weren't for these 2 inheritances, I wouldn't be where I am today. Everything I have is thanks to Long Chen. As long as I, Lei Yuner, am alive, I will never allow you to harm a hair on Long Chen. Thunder circulated around Lei Yuner. His silver hair fluttered. The void behind him exploded, and a fierce bird covered with thunder emerged. As the divine symbol of Lei Yuner's natal talisman bloomed between his eyebrows, the heavens trembled, and thunder shook the 9 heavens. Lei Yuner once obtained the inheritance with the help of Long Chen and broke through to the 700th Emperor Flame. Originally, Lei Yuner would have completed his shaping because of this inheritance and could not make any further progress. However, Lei Yuner was incredibly lucky and actually obtained the ancestral symbol of the Divine Emperor's inheritance in the Tianyu battlefield. thus making a second breakthrough. Originally, his shaping was broken, and he used the 700th Emperor Flame as a stepping stone to directly reach the realm of the human emperor and condense his divine symbol of natal talisman in one fell swoop. Le Yuner is now a giant. Seeing the alien warrior coming, he snorted coldly and slapped out with his palm, and the power of thunder gushed out. With a loud bang, the alien warrior was slapped away by Le Yuner. The alien warrior was the leader of a faction. The two fought hard, but his strength was actually lost to the smaller Le Yuner. However, Le Yuner was not feeling well either. Her figure shook for a while, and a blush appeared on her face. Obviously, the terrifying power of the warrior was also a bit too much for her. Buzz! In this chaos, a mysterious warrior rushed to Chen Kuan-ding. Puff! As soon as the warrior appeared, a black halberd broke through the air and directly pierced the warrior's body. Then Song Lu, who was wearing black armor, appeared. He was filled with black aura and dark power. He was like a life-seeking war god from hell, standing in front of Kuan-ding. Puff! The halberd in Song Lu's hand shook, and the strong man on the halberd was instantly shattered into powder. Song Lu's appearance immediately shocked countless people, and even Kuan-gang couldn't help but shrink his pupils. Buzz! Song Lu's bloody halberd swung violently, and a black crescent shot out, and all the strong men in front of him flew out in a panic like rolling gourds. The dark power this person possesses is so terrifying, and it seems that he has a great background. But how can he protect Long Chun? Who is he? People wondered. The dark power is the symbol of the dark terrorist force. It stands to reason that the dark force and the 9 stars are mortal enemies, but he actually fought for Long Chun. Before, many people had seen Song Lu take action, but the dark power was mysterious and many people did not know its origin. But as time went on, more and more strong men gathered here, and some people recognized the dark power. Le Yuner appeared and blocked the enemies in front. Song Lu appeared again, and had resurrected in a full state, blocking the enemies behind. At this time, the strong men on the left and right saw an opportunity and were about to break through from both sides. Boom boom! As a result, endless thunder and flames emerged. Lei Linger and Huolinger appeared. Thunder and flames burst out, and directly met the enemies coming from both sides. This matter concerns Long Chen's life and death. Huolinger and Lei Linger burst out with all their strength, not daring to hold back. Even the strong who condensed their own divine patterns had to deal with the terrifying thunder and fire with all their strength, and those who were weaker were directly crushed by the terrifying power. The Lei Falcon clan appeared to help guard one direction, while Song Lu, Huolinger, and Lei Linger guarded the other directions, forming a new barrier to protect the Shur Mo clan and Kuan-ding in the middle. Puff, puff, puff. The strong men from all sides rushed madly, trying to break through the blockade and approach Kuan-ding, but they were ruthlessly killed one after another. Lei Linger and Huolinger were already bloodthirsty at this time. Lei Linger's millions of thunder dragons roared, and as long as they were entangled by them, they would explode madly. This is a trick that will quickly consume the power of the origin, but the power is also amazing. Tens of thousands of strong men were directly killed in the first wave of confrontation. The same is true for Huolinger's side. Ancient trees are towering, flames are flowing, and endless golden crows and jade rabbits come out in droves, all of which are suicidal attacks. Huolinger knew that this first wave of attacks was the most fierce, and they had to be beaten down directly, so she launched an attack without reservation. However, the bloodiest place on the battlefield was where Song Lu was. Song Lu used his own strength to clearly tell everyone what it meant to be a one-man guard 1,000-man can't pass. One man and one halberd, blood and flesh flew everywhere he passed. He was like a human-killing machine, strangling all those who approached. Under the bloody halberd, no weapon could stop him. Like a tiger entering a flock of sheep, the battlefield where he was all infected by blood mist. Lei Yuner, Huolinger, Lei Linger, and Song Lu each guarded one side, forming a new protective barrier. Didn't this damn thing just run out of power? How come it recovered so quickly? And it seems to be stronger than before. Lu Zhe looked at Song Lu's figure, and his heart was shocked and angry. Song Lu's full-strength attack before forced him into a desperate situation, and he still remembered it vividly. He used a secret method to recover quickly, and now he had recovered to 90%. However, he was fast, and Song Lu was even faster. His proud recovery speed was nothing in front of Song Lu. Below, there is still below. Seeing that they could not break through, many people had an idea. They quietly sneaked under the earth and used the power of the earth system to pass through quietly. However, after these people got into the ground, there was no movement. Damn it, why don't you do it? The desperate bloody battle above is to attract attention and give you a chance. There are leader-level strongmen who are secretly anxious. Including Lu Zhe and Kuan Gang, all the leaders and strongmen, except for the one who was angered by Lei Yuner, are waiting for an opportunity. Just now, they all secretly ordered some of the strongmen with the power of the earth system to sneak through from underground, hoping to work together from inside and outside to break their defense. But after a few breaths of time, there was no movement below. As a result, they secretly sent some people to sneak into the ground. As a result, after a few breaths of time, these people were like a drop in the ocean, without any movement. Soon the third group of warriors went down. But this time, the leaders had sensed something was wrong and asked them to be more careful and to withdraw immediately if they encountered any accidents. As a result, there was no movement when the third group of warriors went down, and the leaders were shocked and angry. Boom! At this moment, there was a sudden movement. A warrior from the 9 Nether Shadow Demon clan flew out from the ground, and a big hole was created in the ground by him. Sir, below! The warrior from the 9 Nether Shadow Demon clan shouted in fear. Puff! Behind him, a vine shot out and instantly pierced his body. The screams resounded through the world, and then the man's body was dragged into the ground mercilessly. His body was dragged into the ground, but his screams came from underground. The big hole was like a loudspeaker, amplifying not only his voice, but also his fear and despair. There is something underground. Seeing the tentacles, people were shocked. They finally knew why those strong men who had sneaked into the underground disappeared. We can't wait any longer. If we wait any longer, the strong men who can condense the complete natal divine symbol and truly control the power of the law will come, and there will be nothing for us. A leader-level strong man shouted. These leader-level strong men were wary of each other and calculated each other. Everyone's goal was Chen Kuan-ding. But there was only one Chen Kuan-ding, and in the end there could only be one winner, and the ending of the other losers was basically death. Therefore, even though Chen Kuan-ding was right in front of them, they had to remain calm and wait for the opportunity. But after the barrier was finally broken, so many strong men came out and built a new defense. If they kept it, it was very likely that everyone's efforts would be in vain. Although they have all condensed their own natal runes and mastered a trace of the power of the law, their natal runes are not complete. However, it takes a certain amount of time to make up for the defects of the natal runes. After receiving the news, they gave up the opportunity to perfect the natal runes just to take a gamble. But as time went by, they became more and more anxious, fearing that a strong man would break through the shackles and kill them directly. By then, all their efforts would be in vain. Facing a strong man with a complete natal rune, they could only stand aside. Let's attack together and break their defense first to see what other means they have. The other leader-level strongmen also moved. They also knew that it was not a solution to continue like this, so they rushed over one after another. Even Kuan Gang and the man on the soul-swallowing blood toad also moved. All the leader-level strongmen approached, but they kept a certain distance from each other, fearing that they would be attacked by others. As these people slowly approached, Yu Shaoqian and others just took a breath and stood up again. Boom! Those leader-level warriors slowly surrounded them. The first one to bear the pressure was Lei Yuner. The 2 leader-level warriors attacked, and Lei Yuner was immediately repelled. As she retreated, the pressure on the Lei Falcon clan increased dramatically. I'll go support that sister, Yu Shaoqian said to Fei Shuang. Fei Shuang looked at Yu Shaoqian. She wanted to say something, but in the end, she said nothing. A look of determination flashed in her eyes. She activated the power of the stars and walked directly in the direction of Lu Zhe. As for the other powerful men of the Shuremo clan, they could only fight on their own. Facing the leader-level warriors, group battles no longer had any advantages. Boom! Yu Xiaoqian's long sword fell, and the out-of-domain warrior swung a war hammer and was working together with another leader to attack Lei Yuner, trying to kill Lei Yuner in a few moves. As a result, Yu Xiaoqian chopped the warrior holding the war hammer with a sword and flew away. Shuremo clan, you bunch of traitors, prepare to die. The strong man holding the war hammer roared and killed Yu Xiaoqian. The strong man holding the war hammer was a strong man from the outside world. If it were normal times, he would never dare to fight Yu Xiaoqian directly. Yu Xiaoqian's natal magic pattern would greatly weaken the power of the strong demons. Even for an existence of his level, fighting her directly would be no different from committing suicide. But in the previous attack, he found that Yu Xiaoqian's original power was already weak, and the threat to him was very small. The strong man holding the war hammer was suddenly full of confidence, and he killed Yu Xiaoqian without any scruples. Boom, boom, boom. Yu Xiaoqian blocked several moves and was killed and retreated again and again. Buzz! Just when Yu Xiaoqian was in danger, a thunder arrow whistled and pierced the back of the head of the strong man holding the war hammer. The man roared and smashed the thunder arrow with a hammer, and Yu Xiaoqian took the opportunity to cut it back with a sword, winning a chance to catch her breath. Thank you, sister. Yu Xiaoqian looked at Lei Yuner, who was still fighting fiercely in the distance. The arrow that just rescued her was fired by Lei Yuner. Lei Yuner's longbow trembled, forcing the opponent back, and said to Yu Xiaoqian, Brother Longchan, you have been very kind to me. I, Lei Yuner, have no regrets in dying for Brother Longchan, and it is Yuner's great honor to die with a fairy like my sister. From Lei Yuner's words, it can be heard that she came with the determination to die. The moment she stepped into the battlefield, she had no intention of leaving alive. The two smiled at each other, and the two strangers seemed to have become confidants in an instant. Boom, boom. At this moment, there was a roar behind her, and Yu Xiaoqian was startled. Those leader-level masters had broken through their blockade and approached the Chenkuan Ding. At this time, endless black air filled the air, and Song Lu's blood wings spread out. The black blood was burning wildly, forming a dark barrier, frantically resisting the approach of those leader-level masters. This was the first time that Song Lu gave up the attack and defended with all his strength. The black flames swept across the sky with an astonishing momentum. There were dense vines on the black barrier, like a wandering dragon. Countless attacks fell on it, constantly exploding and regenerating. More than a dozen leader-level masters besieged it frantically, but they couldn't break through for a while. On the other side, the stars were bright and murderous, and Fei Shuang and Lu Zhe fought fiercely. The natal rune on Fei Shuang's brow was burning wildly, and the few remaining powers of the original demon and the power of the stars were fully blooming. Puff! After a few moves, she was knocked out by Lu Zhe's punch, spitting blood. Fei Shuang wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His eyes were full of fearlessness and determination, and he rushed towards Lu Zhe again. Where are you looking? Die! Just as Yu Xiaoqian was distracted, the war hammer collapsed and whistled. Facing the full-strength attack of these leader-level strongmen, Yu Xiaoqian was somewhat powerless, and her strength was almost exhausted. She slowly raised her long sword, knowing that she could not resist this attack, but as long as she was not dead, she would never give up. Puff! Yu Xiaoqian slashed down with a sword, and suddenly, a column of blood rushed into the sky, and the head of the strong man holding the war hammer flew into the air. What? Countless people were shocked. Even Yu Xiaoqian was shocked. Buzz! Under the distortion of the void, a petite figure appeared. A beautiful girl who looked about 14 or 15 years old appeared in front of Yu Xiaoqian. The beautiful girl, wearing black leather armor. Although she was a girl, her graceful figure was fully revealed. She held a black dagger, and it was it that silently cut off the head of the strong man holding the war hammer, killing him with one blow. Sister Xiaoqian, I'm sorry, we're late. Leave the rest to us. The beautiful girl said apologetically. The girl was none other than Dongminjiu, who inherited the mantle of Enputa in the mortal world and worshipped Yi Wuxing as her master in the fairy world. Seeing Dongminjiu appear, Yu Shaoqian was surprised and happy. When she heard the word, tu, she suddenly turned her head to look at Fei Shuang's location. Boom! A golden giant sword fell from the sky and slashed at Lu Zhe fiercely. With a loud bang, the golden giant sword slashed down the sky, and the golden rain of light stirred and lit up the heavens. Lu Zhe's fist, which was full of stars and filled with supreme divine power, smashed towards Fei Shuang, who was flying backwards, intending to end Fei Shuang's life with one blow. Fei Shuang had already consumed a lot of energy, and Lu Zhe used a secret method to restore his prime state. Fei Shuang could not resist at all and could only wait quietly for death to come. Boom! The golden giant sword slashed on Lu Zhe's fist, and the golden light and dazzling starlight danced like a huge firework. The violent power swept across the heavens, and Lu Zhe was directly slashed and flew away by the golden giant sword. Boom, boom! A woman with a golden divine light all over her body and a golden lotus blooming under her feet blocked Fei Shuang. This sister! Fei Shuang escaped from death, surprised and happy. The woman wrapped in golden divine light, with long hair draped over her shoulders and a long sword hanging from her waist, was in a peerless grace with a fierce, murderous aura. She was none other than Bai Shirshir. Bai Shirshir turned around and smiled at Fei Shuang. Then she slowly turned around and looked at Lu Zhe. The smile on her face disappeared, replaced by a cold, murderous intent. Bai Shirshir pressed her sword with her long hair flying. Her voice was like a silver bell, but it was accompanied by a fierce, murderous intent. As a descendant of the 9 stars, Long Chun went through dangers for the 9 stars, and attracted the pursuit of the Brahma lineage with his own strength. And you actually colluded with the evil demons from outside the domain to deal with Long Chun together. No matter what your purpose is, today, I, Bai Shirshir, will kill you. Among the many confidants, Bai Shirshir has been with Long Chun in the fairy world for the longest time, and she also knows how much he has paid for the 9 stars in secret. Although Long Chun did not mention these things, and what he did was not for reward, but he went through life and death for the 9 stars countless times, but what he got in return was ruthless betrayal. At that moment, Bai Shirshir was completely angry. Even when facing the strongest warrior in the 9 heavens and 10 earths, Bai Shirshir still wanted to kill him. Clang! The long sword was unsheathed, and the golden color flew across the sky, directly hitting Lu Zhe. The previous sword made Lu Zhe's arm numb, which made him shocked and angry. He had met many masters of the power of gold, but he had never seen anyone who could operate the power of gold to such a terrible degree. Seeing Bai Shirshir's sword coming, he could no longer care about holding back and summoned the Star Claw again. Boom, boom, boom! The golden sword split the sky and slashed wildly. Lu Zhe burst out with all his strength, but he was still slashed back continuously. So strong! Fei Shuang was surprised. Bai Shirshir's golden power was not inferior to Lu Zhe in his prime. Puff, puff, puff. On the other side, the void was constantly being cut, and countless foreign masters were cut into blood mist by invisible sharp blades amid screams. What is this? The outsiders screamed in horror. The invisible blades kept shuttling back and forth, as if there was a group of invisible killers hiding beside them, ready to harvest their lives at any time. It's the power of wind. Come out! A leader-level strongman roared, and the magic weapon in his hand slashed the void fiercely. With a bang, the void exploded, and a graceful figure emerged. It was a beautiful woman. Her skin was as white as jade, and her eyes were like autumn water. However, in these autumn water-like eyes, there was a strong murderous intent. This beautiful woman was Tang Wanner, and at this time Tang Wanner was less lively than usual and more fierce. The leader-level strongman, holding a huge sword, slashed in front of Tang Wanner fiercely, but the sword was 3 feet away from Tang Wanner, and it could no longer move forward. A space shield that kept twisting blocked the violent sword. No matter how hard the leader-level warrior tried, he could not shake the space shield. If you look closely at the shield, you will find that it is composed of countless vortices the size of rice grains. In each vortex, there is a small wind blade flowing. These wind blades are connected to each other to form a 3-foot shield. However, this shield that looks as thin as a cicada's wing blocked the full-strength attack of the leader-level warrior. Tang Wanner slowly raised a finger, and a small vortex formed at the tip of her finger. The vortex was only the size of a soybean, but the moment it formed, a piercing sonic boom resounded through the heavens. "Dare to touch my man, die!" With Tang Wanner's cold shout, a divine light shot out like lightning. Puff! The strong man holding the sword was pierced through the head by the divine light before he even reacted. The divine light passed through the sky, and on a line, no matter whether it was a divine weapon or a flesh and blood body, all were pierced by the soybean-sized thin line. The leader-level strongman holding the sword had a look of fear in his eyes. His mouth opened wide, as if he wanted to say something, but in the end, he said nothing. Another leader-level strongman was killed. Just like Dong Mingyu, it was a fatal blow. Although Dong Mingyu's attack was amazing, it was a means of assassination with skills more important than strength, and the shock level was far less than this kind of frontal killing. Before the leader-level strongman was killed, he did not make any defensive or evasive movements, which meant that Tang Wanner's ultimate killing power was condensed in an instant, and he had no time to react. And this instant burst of power is the most terrifying and the most deadly. To achieve this instant burst, 2 absolute conditions are required. One is the extremely strong original power, and the other is the amazing control ability. According to the law of the cultivation world, the power that bursts out instantly will never exceed 1% of the total amount of the source power. Although there are secret methods that can burst out 30% of the power, 50% of the power, or even all the power, the stronger the burst power, the longer it takes to guide and accumulate power. This is the law of the cultivation world. Tang Wanner's instant burst of power allows people to directly deduce how terrifying her source power is. Tang Wanner killed the leader-level strongman with 1 blow, and did not attack others. Her figure flashed, and she stood together with Dong Mingyu, blocking a person. That person was none other than Kuan Gang from the Kuanping clan. Kuan Gang looked at Tang Wanner and Dong Mingyu coldly and stopped. Kuan Gang is an extremely confident and even conceited person. Among the strong men of the same generation, except for his brother Kunki, no one can be taken seriously by him. But at this time, he was blocked by Dong Mingyu and Tang Wanner. He felt great pressure and extreme danger, so he had to stop. He instinctively looked to the other side, where the soul-devouring blood toad was. In the entire place, only that person made him a little afraid. He wanted to see what was going on over there before deciding whether to take action. Buzz! At this time, in front of the huge soul-devouring blood toad, the void trembled, and a pair of sky-covering wings tore through the void, and the chaotic air spread. A divine bird emerged, and when Kuan Gang saw the divine bird, his pupils suddenly shrank. Chaos Vermilion Bird. However, it was not the Chaos Vermilion bird, but a 7-colored sky-swallowing bird. However, it possessed the chaos aura and divine pressure of the Chaos Vermilion bird clan. On top of the 7-colored sky-swallowing bird stood a woman in white. When the woman appeared, the fierceness of the battlefield seemed to be diluted by the fairy spirit on her body. She seemed to be a banished immortal standing above the mortal world, a goddess who was not in the world. Her peerless elegance made people feel ashamed and felt that it was a blasphemy to look at her. Her beauty was not only reflected in her stunning face and graceful figure, but also in the noble and holy aura emanating from the depths of her soul. She was Meng Qi, and under her was Xiao Yun, who had inherited the Chaos Vermilion bird. She showed her true body and stared at the soul-swallowing blood toad with cold eyes. Xiao Yun stared at the soul-swallowing blood toad, and Meng Qi stared at the mysterious man with a bamboo hat on the head of the soul-swallowing blood toad, blocking his way forward. That sister is so beautiful. Fei Shuang retreated to Yu Xiaoqian's side at this time. She looked at Meng Qi from afar. Even as a woman, she couldn't help but be impressed by Meng Qi's temperament. Yu Xiaoqian held Fei Shuang's hand and continuously transferred the power of origin to Fei Shuang. She recovered the fastest, but her fighting ability was far inferior to Fei Shuang. She had to help Fei Shuang recover first. That fairy-like person is Sister Meng Qi, your brother Long Chen's fiancée, and also our sister. Yu Shaoqian smiled slightly and introduced Fei Shuang. Meng Qi was Long Chen's wife who was betrothed to him since childhood. Among Long Chen's many confidants, they all regarded her as a sister and respected her very much. Meng Qi not only had an open-minded temperament, but also had a broad mind. She treated every confidant of Long Chen as a sister, and the women also respected her from the bottom of their hearts. Even Tang Wan'er, who loves to be irritable and jealous, never gets jealous of her. She is convinced by Meng Qi. She will never say anything that Meng Qi says. At this time, Meng Qi and Xiao Yun appeared, and Yu Shaoqian finally let go of her worries. In the hearts of the women, Meng Qi's status is equivalent to Long Chen's status in the Dragon Blood Core. The seven-colored swallowing sky bird that has absorbed the blood of the Chaos Vermilion bird looks really strong, but it seems that it is still a little short of the fire to stop me. The mysterious man slowly stood up, revealing half of his face full of pockmarks under his hat. As he slowly stood up, the vast pressure rose, the blood-colored flames slowly burned, and a fierce breath burst out. What a terrifying blood power! Fei Shuang couldn't help but exclaimed. The blood fluctuations of this person seemed to be no less than Kuan Gang. Try it and you will know. Facing the mysterious man's contemptuous tone, Meng Qi responded lightly. This is a rare delicacy. It's yours, the mysterious man said to the soul-swallowing blood toad under him. The soul-swallowing blood toad's eyes suddenly glowed, and its big mouth opened slightly, as if it was laughing. Buzz! Suddenly, the soul-swallowing blood toad's big mouth suddenly opened, and the moment it opened its mouth, a vortex appeared between it and Xiao Yun. Boom! There was a loud noise, the vortex trembled, and the figures of Xiao Yun and the soul-swallowing blood toad disappeared without a trace in an instant. What kind of trick is this? People were shocked. The mysterious man said lightly, Your chasing clouds and swallowing skybirds have been introduced into the soul-swallowing blood toad's natal space. In that natal space, the power of the soul-swallowing blood toad will be exerted to the extreme, and your chasing clouds and swallowing skybirds will soon become its food. Meng Qi stood in the void, looking at the mysterious man quietly, shook her head and said, Your confidence is too blind. Perhaps you should worry more about that toad. Are you here to delay time? Sorry, I may not be able to let you do what you want. Boom! A ripple appeared in the void under the feet of the man wearing a bamboo hat, and his figure disappeared instantly. Bang! The man rushed forward, and just as Meng Qi waved her hand to block, suddenly a furry palm slapped Meng Qi's back fiercely. Sister Meng Qi! Yu Shaoqian was shocked. The man was clearly rushing forward, but he didn't know what kind of body movement he used. He strangely went behind Meng Qi, and his speed was so fast that people had no time to react. Boom! This palm directly smashed Meng Qi and the void where she was. Swish! However, at that moment, the man wearing a bamboo hat suddenly flashed, and a sharp sword fell on his head. The bamboo hat was cut off, and a large piece of bloody scalp was also brought down. What? People were shocked. They realized that Meng Qi was standing behind the man in the bamboo hat at some point. The man's hat was chopped off, revealing an extremely weird head, and people couldn't help but exclaim. This man had 2 blood holes on his head, which had already scabbed over, obviously old injuries. The positions of the 2 blood holes were symmetrical, as if there was a pair of horns here, and in the middle of the 2 horns, there was a groove deep enough to see the bone. The groove was deep, but uneven, as if it had been gnawed by some monster, and the tooth marks were very obvious. From this point of view, the reason why this person wore a hat was not to be mysterious, but because he had an injury on his head and didn't want people to see it. The 2 horns seemed to be broken, and there was a mark of being gnawed. Seeing this, everyone couldn't help but gasp. Such a powerful existence was actually injured. It seems that he encountered a more terrifying existence. Ah! The man touched his scalp, which was bleeding, and looked at the same eyes as others, and he couldn't help but let out a thunderous roar. "Bitch, die!" The man seemed to be crazy. The life rune between his eyebrows burned, the imperial flames rose, his arms opened, and a pair of bat-like wings appeared. At that moment, he seemed to have transformed into a demon, and his fierce aura made the heavens change color. "This is the Sky-Wing Blood Demon," someone exclaimed, recognizing his identity. No wonder the Nine-Nether Shadow Demon obeys his orders. It turns out that he is from the most powerful Sky-Wing Blood Demon clan among the evil demons outside the domain, and is known as the Emperor of the Wing Demon clan. No, shouldn't the strongest among the Wing Demons be the Color Wing Sky Demon? The era of the Color Wing Sky Demon has long passed. Now all the demons with wings respect the Sky Wing clan. Not entirely. The Color Wing Sky Demon clan has begun to rise recently and seems to want to regain the throne of the former king. No one can tell who is the king of the Wing Demons. For a while, some powerful people hiding in the dark discussed it, and those who discussed the man were basically powerful people from the Chaos world, because the powerful people in the Nine Heavens world knew very little about the disputes of the Wing Demon clan. For the powerful people in the Nine Heavens world, anyone with wings should be called a Wing Demon, and as for the specific classification, no one knows so clearly. Boom! The strong man from the Sky Wing Blood Demon clan transformed. His aura surged, and murderous intent soared to the sky. He spread his wings and suddenly opened his bloody mouth. A blood-colored beam of light shattered the void and flew towards Meng-Chi. The man of the Tianyi Blood Demon clan was like a mad beast with its scars exposed. He no longer held back and burst out with all his strength. The demon clan has a characteristic that once the blood of rage is aroused, they will completely lose their reason. The demon clan has always distinguished the noble and the humble by the level of wisdom. Some demons are extremely powerful, but because of their lack of wisdom, they are enslaved and become the lowest killing machines. However, no matter how high the demon clan is, there is demon blood flowing in their bodies and demonic nature in their souls. Once this demonic nature is aroused, their originally little wisdom will disappear in an instant, and their brutal nature will be released instead. At this time, the Tianyi Blood Demon clan strongman no longer had any thoughts about how to fight for the Chengkuan Ding. He was now determined to kill Meng-Chi, otherwise, he would not be able to regain his reason. Boom! The blood-colored light column, condensed with endless lore runes, was the ultimate killing technique of the Tianyi Blood Demon clan strongman, and it was directly released. OM! A divine pattern appeared between Meng-Chi's eyebrows, and the divine pattern spread out like a divine tree. The divine tree appeared, and the divine soul aura that made the heavens tremble radiated. Meng-Chi formed a seal with her jade hands, and suddenly a bird of prey appeared in the void behind her, and a vast chaotic aura rose. A chaotic red bird appeared. Its wings spread out, tearing the heavens apart, like an arrow from a string, and fiercely crashed into the blood-colored light column. Boom! The blood-colored light column and the chaotic red bird summoned by Meng-Chi exploded at the same time. Both of them used the ultimate killing technique. The residual power of the collision formed ripples that instantly swept across the heavens. Ah! The ripples spread outward, and the strong men affected all screamed. They felt that their souls were torn apart. Soul attack! My God! Soul attack can actually resist physical attack? People finally understood that this beautiful and holy woman in front of them was actually a rare soul cultivator. However, the magic of soul cultivators is mainly to attack people's souls. The attack is between the entity and the illusion, which is extremely difficult to defend. Therefore, ordinary practitioners are reluctant to provoke soul cultivators easily. However, soul cultivators also have a fatal weakness, that is, their soul power is strong, their physical body is as weak as thin paper, and they are not good at physical attacks. Once someone gets close to them, it means death. Therefore, strong soul cultivators usually have powerful guards around them, or have powerful contracted beasts to accompany them to ensure that they are not attacked and killed at close range. Who would have thought that Meng-Chi, a soul cultivator, in addition to the terrifying soul power, can also materialize soul magic and confront the full-strength attack of the Tianyi Blood Demon clan? Little soul cultivator, without the contracted beast, I wonder how many moves you can hold. The Tiani blood demon clan roared. The blood-colored wings behind him trembled, and the runes under his feet flashed continuously. Boom, boom, boom. The Tiani blood demon clan seemed to have springs under his feet, flashing continuously in the sky. His figure was like lightning, and people could only capture the afterimages he left behind, and for a while they could not find his real body. Facing the strange movements of the Sky-Wing Blood Demon Clan strongman, Meng-Chi ignored it and slowly formed seals with her hands. Her speed was not fast, and her beautiful face was full of calmness. Die! Suddenly, the Sky-Wing Blood Demon Clan strongman, like a ghost, flashed behind Meng-Chi, with sharp claws like hooks, and went straight to Meng-Chi's snow-white jade neck. Buzz! Suddenly, a fist-sized vortex appeared behind Meng-Chi, and a dark blue snake poked its head out slyly. At this time, the big hand of the Sky-Wing Blood Demon Clan strongman was just in front of it, and the dark blue snake suddenly opened its mouth, revealing its fangs flashing with cold light. Swish! The fangs of the dark blue snake ignored the terrifying gale, broke through the defense of the Sky-Wing Blood Demon Clan strongman, and bit his big hand fiercely. During the battle, the blood and chi flow, the power of origin is activated, and the body will form an instinctive defense. For a strong person like the Tiani Blood Demon Clan, the physical defense is even more powerful, comparable to the magic weapon of the God Emperor. But the seemingly inconspicuous little blue snake took a bite, and the fangs instantly pierced into his flesh and blood. Ah! The Tiani Blood Demon Clan strongman was suddenly struck by lightning, and the overwhelming power gathered in his hand dissipated, and his palm also turned blue. The moment the flesh and blood turned blue, it quickly decayed, just like melted blood, dripping continuously, and in the blink of an eye only bones were left on the palm. The most terrifying thing was that the blue color spread rapidly and soon reached his elbow. Puff! The Tiani Blood Demon Clan strongman roared, grabbed his right arm, and blood splashed. He actually tore the arm off at the shoulder and threw it away. As soon as the arm was torn off, the blue color covered the entire arm, and the flesh and blood melted instantly. Swish! The white bone arm fell to the ground. The seemingly intact bone arm was broken into ice chips and scattered. What a terrible poison! What kind of snake is this? People couldn't help but feel numb when they saw this scene. The little snake was only about a foot long and as thick as chopsticks. It had no pressure, but it had such a terrible killing power. Die! The strong man of the Tiani Blood Demon Clan lost an arm, roared, turned around, and slashed at the little snake with wings like knives. Ha! The little blue snake twisted its body, like a loach in the water, extremely flexible, and dodged the attack with a twist. It appeared on Meng-Chi's shoulder, poked out its little head, and slowly opened its little mouth as if showing off and as if mocking. Roar! The strong man of the Tiani Blood Demon Clan roared, and the torn arm was born again. At this time he was furious. Boom! The wings behind it grew rapidly, and endless runes burned on the wings, and his breath was also soaring wildly. The violent force squeezed the heavens and the myriad laws, and the terrifying pressure frightened all the strong men present. What a terrifying aura! The Sky-Wing Blood Demon Clan is too strong. No wonder it has become the king of the Wing Demon Clan. It has not yet condensed a complete natal rune, and has not mastered the complete power of the law, but it has such a terrifying momentum. It is hard to imagine how strong he would be if he condensed a complete natal rune. A strong man exclaimed, "Bitch, you angered me. I will tear you apart." The strong man of the Sky-Wing Blood Demon Clan roared, and the huge wings that surged thousands of miles behind him suddenly gathered. Sky-Wing split the sky. With his roar, the gathered wings suddenly spread out. As his wings spread out, a crack appeared in the space in front of Meng-Chi, and the crack spread rapidly and rushed towards Meng-Chi. The strong man of the Sky-Wing Blood Demon Clan launched the supreme magical power to imprison the space, and wanted to tear the space and Meng-Chi apart like tearing a piece of paper. Meng-Chi snorted coldly and formed seals with both hands, but she suddenly stopped halfway through the seal. Boom! The void in front of Meng-Chi twisted, and a huge monster appeared, blocking Meng-Chi. Swish! The huge monster just blocked the space crack, and blood splattered, and it was torn into two pieces. When people saw the huge monster, they couldn't help but be stunned. Soul-devouring blood toad? The figure that suddenly appeared turned out to be the soul-devouring blood toad. When the soul-devouring blood toad just appeared, it seemed to be injured, with black runes entangled around its body and unable to break free. As soon as it appeared, it was hit by its master's fatal blow and was directly torn into two pieces. This powerful chaos relic died just like that. Bang bang! Two huge corpses fell to the ground, making two muffled sounds. At this time, the void twisted, the colorful divine light was surging, and Xiaoyun's majestic figure appeared again. Soul-devouring blood toad. It's just so-so. Xiaoyun snorted coldly. Obviously, even in the soul-devouring blood toad's natal space, it was still not Xiaoyun's opponent. Whether it was the soul-devouring blood toad or the strong men of the Sky Wing Blood Demon clan, they underestimated the cloud-chasing and swallowing sky bird. Or rather, they underestimated Xiaoyun, who had obtained the orthodox Chaos Vermilion bird inheritance. However, the soul-devouring blood toad was actually very powerful, and it was fighting in its own natal space, occupying an absolute advantage. Although Xiaoyun's strength was better than it, it would take a lot of effort to kill it. However, although Xiaoyun's strength is only one level higher than that of the soul-swallowing blood toad, her wisdom is far superior to that of the soul-swallowing blood toad. Her soul is connected to Meng-Chi. Xiaoyun not only controls the battle inside, but also knows the battle outside clearly. So when she had the absolute upper hand, she used her magical power to temporarily seal the power of the soul-swallowing blood toad, and through Meng-Chi's power, she built a channel to send the soul-swallowing blood toad out as a shield. The soul-swallowing blood toad flew out of its own life space and rashly lost control of the world's power, which would put it in a state of power chaos. Although it is powerful, its wisdom is limited. In a panic, it did not have time to make a correct response and was directly killed by its master. If it was attacked by someone else, it would cause its instinctive reaction or dodge or defend. However, due to the influence of the slave seal, it could not resist the attack of its master, so it died. Seeing that his contracted beast was killed by himself, the strong man of the Tianyi Blood Demon clan let out a thunderous roar. This soul-devouring blood toad is extremely precious and has unlimited potential. Moreover, it is a demon beast with blood power as its origin, which is highly compatible with his blood and soul. It can be said that if this soul-devouring blood toad is well cultivated, it has the opportunity to advance to the God Emperor, and after entering the God Emperor, the soul-devouring blood toad's innate magical power will truly awaken. By then, the power of this soul-devouring blood toad will even exceed his own. Such a powerful contracted beast died just like that, and his heart was bleeding. You all deserve to die. The strong man of the Sky Wing Blood Demon clan was about to bite his teeth to pieces, with a ferocious look on his face, like an angry devil. His goal was the Chenquinding, but now the Chenquinding was not obtained, and he also lost the contracted beast. He was going crazy. Let's die together. The strong man of the Sky Wing Blood Demon clan roared, and the innate rune on his forehead spread rapidly, instantly spreading all over his body, and finally extending to the pair of sky-covering wings behind him. He was completely crazy, his anger was burning his soul. If he couldn't kill the enemy in front of him, he felt that he would be burned to death by his own anger. Boom! The wings of the Sky Wing Blood Demon clan trembled, like a sky sword cutting through the sky, slashing towards Meng-Chi. Let me meet you! Xiaoyun snorted coldly. The colorful runes flickered regularly. The chaotic energy flowed between each of her feathers, and her huge body flew towards the blow. At the same time, one of her wings spread out, and the colorful divine light flashed thousands of times in the blink of an eye. The wings were also like swords, slashing wildly. Boom! The two wings slashed together fiercely, and the whole battlefield trembled. Boom, boom, boom! The Sky Wing Blood Demon clan strongman waved his wings, like an ant waving two swords, which looked a little funny, But every blow was accompanied by the power of destroying the world, and the lethality was amazing. Xiaoyun was not to be outdone, and fought hard with the 7-colored divine wings. The divine wings were like the sword of the gods. Every time they slashed, they were accompanied by wind and thunder, and the roar was deafening. For a time, Xiaoyun and the strong man of the Tianyi Blood Demon clan fought hard, and it seemed that they were evenly matched, and it was difficult to tell who would win in a short time. For a time, all the strong men were shocked. What was the origin of this long chin? For women came out in one breath, each more terrifying than the other. Bai Shishir held a golden sword and stepped on a golden lotus, like a golden goddess. She fought fiercely with Lu Zhe, a strong man of the 9 stars, and killed him and made Lu Zhe retreat again and again. Tang Wan'er and Dong Mingyu fought against the arrogant Kuan Gang, which made him dare not move. Xiaoyun was even more terrifying. He killed the soul-devouring blood toad as soon as he came up, and now he is challenging the owner of the soul-devouring blood toad. Meng Qi stood above the void, with the little blue snake lying on her shoulder, overlooking the entire battlefield, shocking countless strong men hiding in the dark. Before, these strong men had already prepared to fish in troubled waters and wanted to take advantage of the attack by Lu Zhe, Kuan Gang, and the Tianyi Blood Demon clan strongman to see if there was a chance to gamble. After all, that was the Chenkuan Ding, one of the 10 chaos artifacts, and no cultivator could withstand its temptation. However, with the appearance of Meng Qi and others, these strong men hiding in the dark chose to continue hiding and did not dare to act easily. Great! These sisters are too strong. With them, we are not afraid of these villains. Fei Shuang said excitedly. But Yu Xiaoqian's face was full of solemnity. Fei Shuang said puzzledly, Saint Ant, what are you worried about? Yu Xiaoqian looked at Meng Qi and others and said, although the sisters are powerful, they have not condensed a complete natal rune, and the power of the law is not perfect. You mean? Fei Shuang was shocked. Yu Xiaoqian nodded, and Meng Qi and others gave up the opportunity to perfect their natal runes to protect Longchun. Surrounded by enemies, they had no chance to practice. Although they were in an advantageous position, they were secretly using the power of the erupting destiny to quickly perfect their own natal runes. Once a strong person mastered the complete power of the law first, the advantages of Meng Qi and others would be gone. This was what Yu Xiaoqian was worried about. Sister Meng Qi. Yu Xiaoqian sent a message to Meng Qi. Before Yu Xiaoqian could continue, Meng Qi's message had arrived. We were summoned by Lord Kuan Ding. Lord Kuan Ding has his own arrangements. Don't worry. While we have frightened them for a short time, you should quickly recover your strength. It's all up to you to deal with the demons from outside the domain. When Yu Xiaoqian heard that Meng Qi and others were summoned by Chenkuan Ding, she was relieved immediately. Turned out that Chenkuan Ding had already made arrangements. With the addition of Meng Qi and others, the battles of ordinary strong men became cautious, because they not only had to face the enemies in front of them, but also had to prevent the aftermath of the battles of those terrifying strong men. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the warriors of the Shurimo clan slowly tightened their front line, and Lei Linger and Huolinger also felt the pressure greatly reduced. Lei Yuner held the Thunder Longbow and forced the opponent to retreat, and led the warriors of the Lei Falcon clan to move back and join the Shurimo clan. But on the other side, Song Lu did not retreat a step, and 3 leader-level warriors had been killed by him. After a long battle, he not only showed no signs of fatigue, but became more and more courageous. The dark aura around him became more and more dense, and his aura became more and more fierce. He was like a nail, nailed there tightly. No matter how many enemies there were, they could not shake him. And the people present did not notice that Song Lu's aura was quietly changing. Under the mask, a rune on Song Lu's forehead was slowly growing. Boom! At this moment, there was a loud bang, and the terrifying pressure erupted like a volcano. Kuan Gang finally made a move. People exclaimed,